All righty. Good morning. Welcome. Hope you had a great week. Spring is here. Spring is sprung. Time has changed. We're off and running to the golf courses and tennis courts. Yeah. But better than that, it's time to plant your garden or at least think about it. It's that time of the year. We're going to have a garden show coming up. Uh, Greenery, how to grow a garden in the city limits of Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know how you do it with all the apartment buildings around you. How you going to get 6 to 8 hours of sun every day? I don't know, but we'll talk about that another day. Today, we're going to center the show around history. For me, anyway, it's history. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliance, now Queen City Home Store. Roddey Player, good morning, sir.
Hey, brother. How are you, Ray?
I'm great. Good to have you in the
Yeah,
studio
it's
this
been a
morning
while.
with me. Man, you've been a busy boy.
Well, we have been. Yeah, we've got a lot going on. We've expanded our brand throughout North and South Carolina over the last few months, and I've got opened 8 stores, and we've got a couple more in the works to open up in the next 45 to 60 days, anywhere from Aiken, South Carolina to Goldsboro, North Carolina, Durham, Burlington, North Carolina, Rockingham, all over the place, Columbia, South Carolina.
You know what? And I've thought about it because I've been, well, if you've lived in Charlotte your life like I have, Queen City Appliance, as it was called back in the day, Queen City TV and Appliance. You've gone through
Queen City
several.
Television Service at the beginning. That's all he did was TV
What
service.
was it
My
originally?
dad, Queen City Television Service. That was my dad's business back in 1952. He was running service calls out of a little van, charging $5 to come out and swap a tube in those old television sets. I'm sure back in the day, it was Queen City Television Service. How he started out.
And then he expanded and got into the TV business.
Razor, there's a really great story about that.
Well, briefly, kind of tell people because a lot of people that are new to Charlotte, you're a native.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Born and raised, just like myself.
There's a lot of us
homies.
around.
Richton here's a homie.
There's a lot of us around here. People think they're not, but there's a lot of us around
and
here
you
getting
know
things
what?
done.
On that note, real quick, a little interjection here. I never thought about it, but remember the day when IBM moved to Charlotte?
I do.
And Royal Insurance and all these big
Gold Bond.
all these big companies moved to Charlotte. All those new parents moving to Charlotte were young, out of college, moving into corporate America, into the big city of Charlotte.
70s, right?
Yeah.
Late 70s.
Well, all those newbies had babies.
Yeah, sure.
And there was a lot that moved to Charlotte at that time, if you recall. A lot of people came to Charlotte at that time. Well, all those couples had babies. And now we've got a whole nother generation of homies, homegrown Charlotteans.
Yeah.
I never thought about it, but there sits one.
Yeah, there you go. How about that?
Yeah. And the more I have guests on the show, young ones,
right,
it's very evident that there is a whole different generation.
Right.
But keep your story up.
Well, so back in obviously running television service calls back in the day, and the manufacturers had their own retail stores back in those days, so they need to service people out in the field. And
RCA and Zena,
Philco and Muntz, and actually different brands than you think about. But he got a call from one of the banks one day. And back in those days, you'd finance a purchase of a TV like you would in a lot of other things.
My first credit was with you, folks.
Yeah.
Got me a Zena television.
Yeah. But this bank called my dad and says, "We want you to come look at these. We got hundreds of TVs in a building." And so he went there, looked at them, and realized they were repossessed TVs. And so a TV break, people don't want to pay for it.
Oh, really?
They had TVs that break, and people wouldn't pay for a broken TV.
Yeah.
So they called him up. Hundreds and hundreds of them. He didn't have any money, but he talked to the bank. Said, "Look, give me a dozen or so of them. I'll take them to my shop on Monday and fix them up, sell them over the weekend. I'll bring you the money back on Monday for them." And he did that. He sold the TVs over the weekend and took the money on Monday and picked up some more. Took them back to the shop, fixed them up Tuesday, Wednesday, and started putting them on the floor Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sold them again and took his money back. And so got him in the retail business that way, and just trust, handshake deals back in the day.
Well, that was when Charlotte was like Rockingham.
Absolutely. But that's another town we've opened up in, Rockingham. That's a fun city. But just handshake deals. Back in those days, you had relationships, you trusted people, and It was a different world
God, I
than
miss
it is
those
today.
days.
Yeah, it was a different world. We got a lot of good things done, and like you say, this helped that relationship with that early banker. It was probably, who knows what the name of the bank was back then, but it's probably changed name 88 times. The trust of those people back in those days, and it launched his business. So
There you
great.
go. And here we are today, Queen City Home Store.
Yeah, yeah.
And you grew up literally in the business.
I did. Yeah. So, our Saturday mornings, when I was 8, 9 years old, Dad come knock on the door, what are you doing today, boy? I'm gonna go play golf. I'm going to the swimming pool. Whatever you're gonna do. No, heck no, you're not. You're coming to the store with me. I need somebody to clean it up. So I'd be in there sweeping the warehouse. Remember that old green compound we used to throw around the
Oh,
warehouse
yeah.
to keep
Oil
the dust?
dry. Yeah.
Oh, and nasty stuff too.
Yeah.
And you come home all smelling like all that stuff. But so I'd throw in that green stuff out in the compound, the warehouse, sweeping up the floor and cleaning the bathrooms, and then wiping down the displays. And we go have lunch, which is always fun to have lunch with your dad. And then I come back and I kind of just sit and listen to the salespeople on the sales floor, and that was fascinating. That was fascinating. Process in my mind to listen to what was going on with their, they sold things differently back then, but they were still trying to find out what the real needs were for somebody, and they qualify them and make sure they got the right product out there. And but that was fascinating for me back in those days. So that was Saturdays when I was a youngster. So if not for that, I'd probably be playing golf on the PGA Tour or something like that. So that was just a little.
Did you ever, and I know we've talked
or
about
senior
this in the
PGA
past.
Tour, I should say.
Yeah. Have you ever done anything, jumped away from the family business?
I did not.
I thought you've been there since early.
It's the only W-2 I've ever had. So I did some things during the summers or something like that. Maybe it's when I was at school, but really, mom and dad needed me in the business. My mother works with us too, but needed me in the business back then, and so
She's still working.
It's gonna be 96 in July, and she's still working. How about that, Ray?
Well, it's all right.
But,
She's got purpose.
Yeah, she does.
That's her
It
service and
keeps her
purpose the
going.
way she goes.
Yeah.
Without that, she'd probably just leave us.
No,
she
she's not
needs
going.
That's my point.
You're right. You're right.
She's
Yeah,
part of it.
absolutely.
She lives to serve.
But she does. She stays
awesome.
engaged. She's probably working, 4 or 5 hours a day, I'm sure. And she's a remote worker, probably one of the oldest remote workers in the country. But works out of the house, and we set her up out there. Back in COVID, we set her up at the house in COVID, and she's been there ever since. And like I say, she works a little bit and keeps us busy. But yeah, it's been a great run. But I came straight out of school though and didn't do anything else. And but my kids actually went out and worked somewhere else for a while before they came to work with us. Both of them are working with us now too. My daughter Kate is in the finance part of the business, and then my son Roddey Jr. is doing some logistics for us. But both of them went out and worked for 3 or 4. Actually, Roddey worked 7 years. I think Kate worked about 4 years outside of the business, and kind of came in and had some different perspectives. And being homegrown, maybe you don't have quite an objective view on things if you're homegrown like that. But they brought some, kind of cut their teeth at other places, and so when they came in, they were more mature than I was, I'm sure, as a 22-year-old coming to the business. And they'd worked with others. So they came in and that worked out very, very well for us because they had some credibility in coming to the business, had some experience in the business, and that brought a lot to enable us to really expand the business like we're in right now. This expansion mode has been a tremendous opportunity for us.
Well, I'm gonna go deep with you if you don't mind,
Sure.
because, well, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
The home store concept.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It started, I think, at the Carolina Place Mall.
Pineville. Mm-hmm.
Pineville. Mm-hmm. Am I right on that?
It is, yeah.
Because that store you opened up, how long ago? 5, 6?
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
I remember I walked through the store several times.
So it's been 8 years now, I guess. So it's on Furniture Row back there on the backside of Carolina Place Mall. And so I thought, got a lot of furniture traffic out there. It's a fairly large building out there, larger than our other stores. And so we thought, well, shoot, let's get in the business. You think about what's different about that.
You were in mattresses prior.
We sure were. But you think about that, what's different about that? People that are buying appliances are doing something to their homes. It's a new home. They're moving to an existing home. They're building a new home, remodel a home. A family's growing. They need, whatever it is out there. And when people are buying furniture, something going on in the home, right? They bought a new home. They're selling it, moving to an existing home. The family's growing. So it's the same customers buying appliances, buying furniture. And so, but on Furniture Row out there, we had a lot of traffic out there buying furniture, so we
Well,
had the
that's
extra
what
square
I was
footage.
curious
Yeah.
about it. So it worked for you.
It started working, and so we yeah, but it's a good business. We like that business, and the same guys and same trucks can deliver furniture. They're delivering appliances, and so it's a natural
I'd
fit.
rather deliver furniture than appliances if
It's
it was
fun.
me.
It's funny. There's both sides of that for
Well,
some
I've done
reason.
both,
Yeah,
and let
yeah,
me tell
yeah,
you,
yeah.
appliances will kick your butt.
Yeah, the ones you do especially.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it's funny but you imagine lifting up a sofa and trying to twist it through doorways to get it into
Yeah,
a
yeah, I
down.
can really imagine because I've
It's
done
yeah,
it. It's
yeah. Yeah.
there's an art to it.
Yeah, there really is, and so it takes some experience. But we've got some of our delivery and installation teams prefer furniture, and some of them prefer appliances. You're right, but it goes both ways, and so
Yeah.
we're cross training to make sure they can do both.
Well, the
But
weightlifters, they're gonna pick the appliance side of the
yeah,
fence.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But it's worked out great, and it's a good business, and this expansion has opened up an opportunity for us in furniture too. We can talk about too. But
Well, I want to talk about furniture.
mhm.
Are you getting? And I hope I don't create a problem
Mhm.
here. Resources.
Yep.
Are you going for American made?
It is, yes, domestic stuff we're buying, yes, and so we are not at
Because
this
right now
point.
there's so much coming in here from
Yeah.
other countries.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
It's not easy to buy all domestic, and there's a
That's
few
my point.
there's
That
a
was
few
kind of
case
where my
goods.
question's coming from.
There are a few case goods that are coming from overseas. To be honest with you, Vietnam is a big producer of case goods, dressers, drawers, and things like that. But we're doing everything we can to buy from domestic suppliers. So we've got suppliers in North Carolina, suppliers. Mississippi's another big manufacturing haven for furniture. So we're doing everything we can to use domestics when we possibly can. And so if you look at the floor, look at where it's made, you'll see a lot of American-made products in the stores today.
Well, I was saying I would have guessed that,
Mhm.
but I hadn't because I understand that the influx of foreign is just
Well, it's a mention to see too, because our manufacturers aren't affected by the tariffs like some will be too, whatever they look like. There's some tariffs out there now. They're supposed to go up on product coming from China, and there's a lot of furniture that does come from China, but we're not playing in that space right now.
so. You got a new concept, Queen City Home Store.
Mhm.
Talk about what that concept is.
So-
You have briefly.
Yeah, so it's products
I
for the
mean-
home is what we're selling. So it's evolved. First of all, the Pineville store, we actually have called that the home store for quite a while. This expansion, we took advantage, saw an opportunity to expand our business, and there's some stores that were in the furniture business, a little bit of appliance business out in the eastern part of the state, or all over the Carolinas, or all the southeast, to be honest with you. And the furniture industry's kind of struggled a little bit the last couple of years in the recession, and so some of them got in some financial trouble, and so there were stores that were closing all over the southeast, hundreds and hundreds of stores. I'm going to say as many as 600 or 700 stores are closed in the southeast.
Now, are these stores mostly rural, family owned, or just smaller?
No, they're big companies.
They're
Big companies. I mean, there's a company called Cons closed.
I was thinking about it. Did Cons close?
And,
Okay.
and they had another store under an umbrella called Badcock Home Furnishing and more.
I'm aware of that.
They were
I
in some
remember.
rural markets, but also some larger markets. And so we saw an opportunity. I started actually going to visit some of these stores, see what was going on. And these Badcock stores were about 20 or 22,000 square feet, about 90% furniture, a little bit of appliance business in there. And so I met the people, and that was the real eye-opening thing, how great these people were in these stores. And so some of these towns I mentioned earlier, Burlington, Rockingham, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Goldsboro, not big, like metros like Charlotte, Raleigh, and things like that.
Right.
But we've been doing business in Charlotte and doing business in Raleigh. And so all these stores are kind of in between. And so when I met and saw these buildings, saw these people, met these people, and they're so committed to their customers, which we always have been too. It felt like a good cultural fit to bring these people on. And so they're in the furniture business. And so we're putting our appliance business into their stores. We're putting their furniture business in our Charlotte stores over the next 12 months or so. And so we thought, well, it's not audio-video appliances anymore. It's a home store. It's products for the home. So mattresses, electronics, appliances, furniture, everything you would need for your home out there, indoor and outdoor stuff, products for the home. So we've tried to, we've changed the logo a little bit too, and upgraded that. And so it's a big kind of rebranding of the entire company. And so we're ready to go.
Well, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it. We got a little time on our hands.
Okay, all right.
We can talk about it. And there's a lot to talk about. But our whole discussion. We got to go into a break here. But in our whole discussion, and where it all started, it wasn't even brought up anymore, and that's TVs.
Mhm.
Boy, have things changed in TVs. It's just mind blowing.
It is.
To think of the technology, even in the past 10 years, right?
Absolutely. It's they keep getting bigger and bigger and better, and the technology is just crazy.
I mean, how clear can a tube be?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll talk about it. Roddey Player in the house, President, CEO, Queen City Home Store, growth, change. Let's talk about it. We'll be back.
Find out more about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Go outside and take a look at your home. Are the gutters doing their job? The number one enemy to your home is water. Most homes are built with small, inadequate gutters and small downspouts. ABS Insulating has a division of the company that does nothing but gutter services. All gutter services: cleaning, maintaining, repair, new downspouts, replacement, and new gutters with many types available. They're a leader when it comes to gutter protection. Call ABS Insulating today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
Carolina Foundation Solutions is a family-owned and operated company and a licensed general contractor in North and South Carolina, providing foundation solutions from the mountains to the sandy shores of the coast. At Carolina Foundation Solutions, our objective is to help educate, offer guidance, and provide assistance. With over 200 years of combined experience, our family of experts are ready to help protect and repair your largest investments. If you have a problem, we have a solution. Call 877-883-4626 or online, carolinafoundationsolutions.com.
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595. Or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
There's big news in the Carolinas. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances is now Queen City Home Store. For over 70 years, we've been your trusted retailer for appliances, electronics, and more. Now, we're taking it to the next level with a new name, a fresh look, and more ways to serve you, offering the same outstanding service you've always counted on, while bringing you everything you need for your home. Queen City Home Store. Same great service, more possibilities. Visit us at queencityonline.com.
Hi, I'm Sam Attero of AtteroMedia.com, and I love empowering my clients and partners to make the most out of today's latest digital media tools. We specialize in building production systems and podcast studios for small to mid-sized churches and local businesses here in Charlotte. Do you need new media production gear? Do you need help learning how to use it? You're in great hands with our family business, Attero Media of Charlotte. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Let's face it, we do not like bugs and especially spiders and ants. Unwanted pests in the home are not only creepy, they can also spread sickness and cause significant damage to the structural integrity of our homes. Kilo Exterminating has been taking care of pest control problems in the Charlotte area for over 70 years with award-winning customer service. Moisture readings are standard with all crawl space inspection. Call Kilo Exterminating at the first sign of infestation, 704-333-9855, or online at kilo.biz. Again, that's 704-333-9855.
Mike Libretto here, inviting you to come in and experience Charlotte's best New York pizza and great Italian food at Libretto's Pizzeria. Serving Charlotte proudly since 2008, Libretto's pizzas are sure to please by the slice or grab a whole pie. pastas, entrees, great appetizers, sandwiches, and wings. A menu to please the whole family. Dine in or takeout, available 7 days a week. Visit us online at librettospizzeria.com or call us at 704-714-1442. That's Libretto's Pizzeria. Stop in and become part of the family.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to About Your House right here on Fox Sports Charlotte. Download the free app, stream us live on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, on the About Your House radio page. New things coming, folks. Man, we're in a big change. A lot of things going on. Put Toes and Schools is really going forward with initiatives around various things. We got Queen City Home Store, previously Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliance, and we can go back previously to this and previously.
Right.
Things constantly changing. Anyway, we got Uncle Red on the phone. Let's talk to him. Good morning, sir. How in the world are you?
I'm just tickled to death that I'm enjoying the hell out of listening to y'all talk. It's like a history lesson.
How about that?
The only problem is I live the history.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
Well, we absolutely. But I'm going to say one word, and then I'm going to let him explain it to everybody so the people that are young now will understand what he's doing and why what he's doing works so well. Price point. It's all about price point. It's about him being able, and he can expounds on it a lot better than I can. But and then I'm going to finish on saying this. When I came back out of the Marines from being in Vietnam a couple times, and I grew up in Charlotte, I didn't know who was what. And a guy named Ray Burgess was running a store out on Independence Boulevard on the right-hand side at the top of the hill at Sharon Avenue in a shopping center. I didn't know him. And I needed to buy some stuff because we were moving in an apartment. And a nice lady at the back of the store, don't have a clue what her name was. She did paperwork. She did payment stuff. I went in and bought some appliances and the TV and the stereo and stuff. That would have been in 69 of all times. Anyway, and I made payments on it. I didn't understand anything about what I was doing. They didn't care what I did or when I did. And I'm sure he's sitting over there laughing about it. But I made the payment. And I have stayed with them from then until now. And when I moved to the lake, the first stuff I put in my house came from down there on Independence Boulevard. But the trick is what people need to understand. He's talking about getting so much bigger. I'm tickled to death he's getting bigger. But the trick is when he gets bigger, he gets better buys on the better equipment, and he can save you money. And I don't care. You can argue it to hell and back. But I know how it works, and he can explain it. And that's the reason they will do really well with what they're doing now. But I had my experience is so deep with Queen City, every way in the world. The service was good. It was just down home, buying whatever you needed to buy. It was down home stuff.
Yes, sir.
I have no reason to ever go to anybody else.
Well, I appreciate that, Uncle Red. You've been a good man out there. We've got lots of customers and lots of stories like that, and I can assure you. And Miss Ramsey worked at that store.
When the guy answered the phone, I mentioned Woody. See, because I remember Woody had people working for him running the stores.
Yeah.
I mean, we go too far back. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna click back over. Y'all have a great day. Good luck
All
with
right,
what
buddy.
you're doing, because I know it'll work.
Thank
Oh, and
you.
hey, Ray.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
by the way, when Royal and IBM moved to Charlotte,
Yes.
we're talking to the guy, me, that welded up and worked on all the pipe for all the big computer room floors and computer floors and stuff in all those buildings. So I was right in the middle of all that.
A lot of people moved
a
to Charlotte.
lot of days and nights from then till now. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Did they all went up to the university? Is that when the university started blowing up there too?
They-
Yeah,
well,
yeah. The
Pat-
IBM
IBM
was
Hall.
up there.
Pat Hall sold a big chunk of land out off of Harris, and the Pat Hall, the guy that started Carowinds, and he sold them a big chunk of land, and they brought a few people from Binghamton, New York, and everything went crazy. But they had to create a building and an area to run those big rack computers, and you have to cool them. And I worked for a mechanical contractor, and I was there. And then when Royal bought that big chunk of land down off of 77 below Airwood Road, nope, it was out in the middle of no damn where.
Right.
I don't even think it's in the city limits then. They bought that whole chunk of land and created a world, and I worked for a mechanical contractor and went down there and did that. So it was funny when y'all started to show off talking about when Royal came and when IBM came on. I'm thinking I worked in all those buildings. So anyway, when they were new. Y'all have a good show.
Thank you. Appreciate your call. Be safe out there.
Man.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, he goes back.
Yeah.
He's older than both me and you. How old are you now?
I'll be 63 in July.
63. Going on 40.
I wish. They're like dog years now, I'm afraid.
Back to the growth aspect. So you literally helped save some jobs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean
and there's
I
a
heard
lot of gratitude
that loud
for that.
and clear
Right.
in the with the Babcock people, for example.
Right.
You kept a lot of those people on board, and
we did. We
you
brought
had
about
to.
70 or so on board in these 9, 10, could be 11 stores. We're still looking at some more of them, but they're really great people out there. Now the business is a little different. He was talking about credit. Now it was a kind of a credit business in there where they used to operate. So it's, I'm gonna say, higher prices, and credit was necessary to get the credit. Those higher prices were. What you'll see in those stores now is some higher quality product at really lower prices. We still have some of those finance options, but you're not being penalized for being lesser credit worthy, for lack of a better term. So really competitive prices, and he's right. It is about price. We always want to make sure that we're going to have the right price on products out there. So we know what our competitors are selling things for. We're never going to be above them, frequently be below them. But we make big purchases, and he's right. When you're growing, your programs get better, your prices get better, and so we do pass those things on. But it's absolutely about those kind of things. But at the end of the day, when he's talking, I wrote down the word local, because we still want to feel and be involved locally. So we've got a ribbon cutting in Burlington on Tuesday morning, and so we're gonna bring some. We've packed all those meals for the high country, and we've got some meals that we haven't distributed yet. We're going to take some up there to the food banks in Burlington up there. The Salvation Army, I think, is going to get some of them. There's another group. I can't remember the name of the group we talked to yesterday. We're going to take some meals up there to them too, and we're going to be part of the community. It's not just.
So you got a lot of collaboration going on within the community with other nonprofits as well.
Yeah, and the Chamber of Commerce is involved in these ribbon cuttings too. So we're trying to introduce ourselves to the community, be a part of the community up there, but keep it local. These are local people. We're not sending Charlotte people to run those stores. These are locals that are running the stores, and so it's
community folks.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have they've got a job. They were already trained on the industry. They know how to sell things, and know how to communicate and give guests, we call our customers guests, the experience that they deserve and have a right to. So it's just a matter of us teaching them how to sell some other products. Like I say, there'll be a much, much larger appliance assortment in these stores. They probably had 20 or 25 appliance SKUs in their stores, and or different model numbers. And you'll find that there's 500 or 600 appliances in these stores now. So, but much bigger assortment. But it's a good, solid business for them. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and they're really great people. I can't tell you how great people they are, and the communities are open arms, and we're having a lot of fun with it.
Where are you going? Do you know the cities you're in?
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. So
see, I'm gonna test you.
Yeah,
I want to give you a test this morning.
The first batch was Burlington and Fayetteville, Goldsboro, Rockingham, and Durham, Columbia, and those are the first stores to come in. And Rockingham, and then Aiken, South Carolina's coming a little bit later. We've got Greenwood, South Carolina, coming on a little bit behind it. And then the last one we've talked to so far is Boiling Springs, South Carolina, which is in Spartanburg County. So that gives a good reach down I-85 from our headquarters and warehouse. So
are you going to be shipping out of the warehouse here?
So we're going to have some distribution points outside of Westinghouse Boulevard too. So it's hard to get to Goldsboro. It's about 3.5-4 hours away.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and so and some of the stores have some warehouse space. I don't mean
to price it deep, but hey, I'm just curious.
So but we'll have distribution space. But some of these stores have small warehouses in them, so we could use them as cross docks. But really, as we build the business, and we're still talking to some. It was funny. Some of the landlords I had some conversations with a while back didn't want to do the deals that we were talking to them about, but all of a sudden they're calling us back now, ready to move on some other locations out there because there's nobody really. The economy's not great out there, and there's a lot of these big boxes and junior kind of anchors that are shrinking. And so there's an opportunity for those that are going to grow to go into some of these spaces. So we've had some good conversations with some of the landlords. The conversations are different than they were 3 or 4 months ago, I guess. So,
how is the economy from your perspective? I mean, here you are in the middle of a transition and growth, but yet the economy, with all the politicizing and the political and the bureau, everything going on right now.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that
a little chaotic.
I mentioned earlier the furniture industry hasn't been all that strong over the last couple of years. So I feel like we're catching that industry at a good time. It's kind of down a little bit. The appliance business overall has been kind of flattish for the industry, but right in the Carolinas, it's different. We're growing in the Carolinas still.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of demand.
Yeah, there's demand. There's not enough housing. Housing prices are still going up. I think we're starting to see some numbers, and I get realtor letters, and I think the inventory is starting to increase a little bit on housing. Interest rates, they came down a little bit, popped back up a little bit, may come down some more. So those are the kind of things we need to keep things moving. But our home builders that we do business with seem to be doing okay. I think they kind of plan to be down a little bit, but I don't think their actuality. I think their real numbers are actually up a little bit. So that's good. So land is getting hard to find for these tract builders, and so they're having to go further and further out of the Charlotte and Mecklenburg County.
Well, everything around Charlotte, as you well know.
But there's some restrictions out there too on permits. Some of the municipalities are having trouble keeping up with water. And one I heard the other day was they don't have enough seats in the schools. So if they can't, if you want to apply to build a subdivision, if the school system can't support it, then you won't get the permits.
You don't have infrastructure.
Yeah, so they're working on those infrastructures and things, and so they'll put a pause on permits until they can have a plan to remedy that. And that's school bonds or whatever else may be out there to build schools. But so there's a lot of those dynamics that are affecting the industry out there. But if you're doing business in the Carolinas, you should be doing okay out there. I think we're all trying to be conservative out there these days, but we've had such a good opportunity to expand our business, and like I said, I think we're catching things at the right time. And
well, Charlotte's blowing up.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't know how to phrase the question. A lot of apartments going up.
Right.
A lot. Do you get any of that?
We do. We're getting a ton of that business. There's a lot of it being done. We can't do it all for sure, but
good Lord, I don't know how you would.
We've got a couple projects that are 250 unit plus apartment buildings that we're doing. We've got the capacity and the wherewithal. That's a different business. You got to be able to throw 20, 30 minutes at a project like that to keep up with the builders.
I got a call. I don't know where it came from. A builder up in, I don't know, north of Statesville. He wanted me to install all the appliance in the apartment project.
Oh, wow.
Up there. And I told him, I says, no, I can't do that. He says, why? I hear you're real good at appliance installation. I said, I am. I said, but I got to get an army to do that.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not going to play by all your rules.
Right.
because you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
And I says, no, no offense,
Yeah.
but no, I love installing what
Right.
I do.
Right.
I love it, but I'm in control.
Right.
When I lose control is when we lose control. And that's not a good thing, as you well know.
Yeah, like I say, we can throw,
Especially
like I say,
when I'm installing $10,000
right.
ranges and
yeah,
vent hoods that cost $8,000. You know,
what's a production for those guys, and it's different. It's not the same. It is. You expect a quality installation out there, but it's different when you're in a production mode like that.
Well, you know, installing appliances aren't as easy as it used to be either.
Mm-mm. Why is that? Tell me why.
They're bigger.
Okay.
They're varying sizes. Getting in a structure, you know, sometimes they're very tight. Sometimes not even doable, right?
Yes, we've seen that before.
I know you have.
We get customers all the time that'll buy a refrigerator, and we do our best, man. We really. And
I know, and I try to help you because this is crazy.
Sometimes our customers feel challenged a little bit over and above, but we're trying to make sure it's going to be the right installation, the right product, and we'll find refrigerators that we take to a house, and our guys, you know, are challenged to go in there, look at the space before you go in there, and then they've got a 36-inch deep refrigerator. You take the doors off, maybe it gets down to 31 inches, and you got a 29 or 30-inch doorway to slip it through, and you just can't do it.
Right.
And so sometimes customers, I hate to say the word upset, but they're frustrated because we're trying to push them, challenge them to answer all these questions before we go, and then sure enough we run into a problem. And so there's just a lot of questions. And so if you're in the stores, you know, hopefully if you're not in my stores, hopefully somebody's asking these questions. But if you're in my stores, you're going to get these questions asked, and we're going to ask you, send me a picture of what you got.
Pictures. Unfortunately, not enough people understand or know how to read a tape measuring device, a measuring device, be it a stick, a rule, a tape measure, whatever. And unfortunately, I'm finding out this firsthand, okay, face to face with people.
Right.
So you need to know what size, and we say this every time you're on the show, you know, you need to know where you're putting the appliance, what size hole it is. Washer and dryers, there's a biggie. Will the door open? Will it close?
Right.
Do you have room behind the dryer to hook up your dryer vent?
Well, everybody wants something that's bigger and better and bigger than before. And so if you're going to make something bigger, it's going to be deeper, it's going to be wider, it's going to be taller if you want capacity. And so that's what you run into.
Yeah, but you don't know if you don't know. And what we're doing here today, please pay attention. Measure where you're going into. The door, for example. You know, a 29-inch dryer will not go through a smaller hole than that. And sometimes it's required that you get a smaller appliance.
Yeah, I wish we eliminate the word standard size.
There is no such thing.
Yeah.
Somebody called me the other day. Well, it's standard, and I said, there is no such word anymore. Yeah. Well, there is and there isn't, really.
It's hard to think of a standard size refrigerator. There's 88 different sizes, you know.
Well, but back in the day when you grew up and we grew up, there were standard sizes. Were there not?
Well, you still had there were still differences, you know, but I don't know. It's just we just gonna, like I said, we're going to challenge our customers to answer some questions and follow up with them even after they leave the store. We think we got a solution, but go back home, measure, call me back. Let's confirm.
Roddey, I'm right there with you, brother. Yeah. I just sold a wolf hood down in River Hills.
Yep.
I measured it 3 times.
Yep.
Then called the homeowner back. Are you sure? You know, because they, as you well know, you got $8,000 sitting there in a hood. You just can't just take it back. Don't want to.
No, don't want to. That's for sure. But
you got to be sure.
It's not hard to do, to be honest with you. And so, but sometimes people just feel like it's just not necessary, but it really is. And like I said, we push a little bit, and sometimes we had a builder the other day work with one of my most experienced sales managed store leads, and you know, really blowing him up about, why are you asking me this? And so finally we go out there, sure enough, we can't do it. And
I hate to say, but on that note, and a lot of people call me negative. I'm just real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Builders are a pain.
Yeah.
Because of that right there.
Yeah.
Guys, you're the worst kind of customer sometimes. Builders and contractors. I've been doing it a long time.
Right.
And you might say, well, who are you to make that judgment?
Mm-hmm.
I go out, and the biggest problems I have, unfortunately, are with builders and contractors.
Yeah.
Residential customers,
Yeah.
not a problem.
Yeah.
Because you can talk to them.
They're looking for help. Right?
They want help.
Yeah.
You contractors seem to know everything. And like you just alluded to, you went out there and didn't work.
Yeah, but this guy calls our store lead back and says, look, you know what? You were right. I should have done this. And so he had actually wasn't giving us all of his business at the time, but from now on, you're my guy, and I'm gonna listen to you, because what happened was it delayed his project, so we go out there attempting to do this, and he's got electricians scheduled after this and plumbers scheduled after this, and so he demanded we do this, and so we get out there, and we can't do it the way he was hoping, and so it pushed everything 3 or 4 days out, and the chaos for a builder. They got to have things fall into place, and you got to hit deadlines, and
well,
so,
y'all shoot for that.
Oh, absolutely. But we want to facilitate, getting to the end of a project, not hold things up.
You're delivering a downdraft vent today that I'm installing Monday.
Okay, good.
However, as you well know, things happen sometimes, and it doesn't happen that way. And then my day on Monday that I scheduled
is waste.
It's
a waste. And it's money.
Exactly.
It's money.
So, and I tell people, I'm not scheduling absolutely until I know you have product.
Right.
Because I know things happen. And I'm just telling you as a customer, things happen, like sometimes they get damaged beyond everybody's control. Right?
Yeah, we work hard to try and avoid that. So
do.
we open up boxes, inspect them before we come out there, trying to avoid that. But sometimes you might miss something, and it's unfortunate.
But these are things that you as a customer need to understand happen. Life isn't perfect, but we sure do our darndest to give you all we can. Yeah. Well, let's take a break here. 704-227-8986. You've got a question about appliances. There are a lot of questions to be asked about appliances these days because, my gosh, with technology being what it is, and we'll talk all about it. So come back right here on About Your House. Roddey Player, President, CEO, Queen City Home Store. Come back. We'll be here.
About the show, go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hey guys, it's Amy, Furniture and Design Lead at the Queen City Home Store. Have I got some exciting news for you? Today through April 14th, we're offering 0% financing for 36 months on all furniture and mattress purchases of $8.99 and above. Stop by a Queen City Home Store location to check out our new living, dining, and bedroom collections. So we'll see you there at the Queen City Home Store, where you're always home.
John DeLand here for Crown Town Cannabis. We at Crown Town Cannabis care about you and your health. All of our products, from edibles to topical creams, are all third-party tested for purity and quality. 4 locations, open 7 days a week to help you with any concerns you may have. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can call us at 704-412-7121 or online at crowntowncannabis.com.
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595, or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
The professionals at Kilo Exterminating Company have over 70 years of experience in pest control. Throughout the years, they always pride themselves on maintaining the highest standard of quality and customer service, with every technician being state certified. And moisture readings are standard with every inspection. Their top priority is ensuring your home is free from pests such as ants, mosquitoes, termites, and any other pests wreaking havoc on your home. That's Kilo Exterminating at 704-333-9855 or online, kilo.biz. That's 704-333-9855.
Hi, I'm Sam Otero of AteroMedia.com. Someone asked me once what I love the most about my 30-year-long career as a media producer and educator, and I have to say the fact that not only do I get to create for a living every day, but then I get to teach and help others to use the content and gear systems that I've built for them themselves. Do you need professional live event video production or streaming services? You're in great hands with our family business. All 5-star Google reviews. That's ETTARO media.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. About Your House right here on Fox Sports Charlotte every Saturday morning, 8 to 11. Roddey Player in the house today.
Yes, sir.
President of Queen City Home Store. Since 1952 is when it all started on North Tryon Street.
Actually, it's on West 2nd Street.
West 2nd, but it was downtown.
Remember they built that concrete Wachovia building back in 66 or 7. He was operating there for, I guess, 10 or 12, 14 years on that West 2nd Street. Right there, off of South Tryon.
Right.
That's where it is.
Okay, South Tryon.
But then he moved across the street on the 511 South Tryon. So, and North Tryon Street store came about in the, God, when was that about? I probably bought that in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, I guess.
Gotcha.
That was a neat building.
What's amazing is how you grew up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think back, your whole life's been around Queen City.
It has. It's a great town, Ray.
Well, yes, you've done a lot of great things, and I personally want to thank you and the Player family for all you've given to Charlotte.
We and I tell us with great humility, but we went to a trade show last week, and remember back in October we did that meal packing event.
Oh yeah, I remember it well. Yeah,
Hope for the High Country, and all kinds of people getting involved with us in that thing, and from a media aspect too. And I'm sure we probably talked about it on here too. But
we did.
We were actually nominated and were awarded a presidential volunteer service award that you'll see some things come out about. And
I saw a post on Facebook about it. Yeah,
and that was a real surprise.
San Antonio?
A real honor. We were in San Antonio,
right?
And so we were awarded a medallion and medals and a certificate and a plaque and so we were real honored by that. But really, you know, the people that came together to pull that thing off. We had 2,600 volunteers as Charlotte they just wanted to help somehow, some way, whatever they could do to help. and 2,600 people showed up. And like I said, we had a whole lot of media people helping us do it. And No Child Hungry was the vehicle that helped provide the meals and the way to.
Well, you've
the
done
process,
several of
but
those drives.
We have, and so we were introduced to them from our buying group, and so our buying group is kind of instilled in all of us, a sense of a need to give back to the community, and so this is a great vehicle for us to do it, and at this kind of scale, to pack 500,000 meals, and we packed hygiene kits to go up to the mountains, and we packed snack kits for the workers that are the first responders that are out there working, and so we're extremely honored by that. It's a chance for us to go to the White House and be awarded this thing in person. But we're on just for 2024 activities, but it was just a real honor, and so the communities are, like I said, these new markets are going into. We want to be part of those communities too, and be part of the fabric of the community.
Awesome.
Yep.
We've definitely done it in Charlotte. So,
well, we've been lucky. The community's been good to us.
You practiced
really
well.
Is. Well, the community's been awfully good to us over these years, and so yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I know this. When I go out or get a phone call, I get a lot of referrals, and I certainly appreciate it. I enjoy working with the customers of Queen City.
Yeah.
And enjoy doing the work.
Well, sometimes we need somebody to do the tough stuff out there, and that's what you're awful good at, trying to figure out things that others walk away from. You can figure out ways to get them done.
Man, yeah, but every now and then I'll get one that whoa. Hit one last week.
Yeah.
That the guy wanted to put a remote blower on a vent fan,
mm-hmm.
and I crawled up in the attic to see where it exits. I knew it went out the roof, but I didn't know what complexities were involved with going out the roof. There's no way I get a remote blower in that attic.
Mm-hmm.
So I said on the roof. Well, then I got a vent pipe that has to be moved. What could be a simple little thing. Sometimes, and this is part of the story today, that's not always achievable, relatively inexpensive. Sometimes some of these things take a major remodel situation because of everything that's involved, and that's the case with this. But he could put a new blower in his existing vehicle, it worked fine.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want the noise.
Yeah.
So what are you willing to pay for quiet?
Do you really think you're always going to hear some wind, right?
Yeah,
but
always.
It's not a bunch of. I mean, these things are not a bunch of motor noise. You think?
No,
Big difference. It's just the wind. You're going to hear the wind
air
blow.
friction,
right?
It's just friction of the air movement. And you're going to have air.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, honestly, that remote blowers are quieter because the motor's outside.
Right.
You're not getting nearly as much motor noise as you would if the blower was in your house. Right. And there are advantages to that.
Right.
You're pulling instead of blowing. I mean, aerodynamics are, to be thought of and implemented in these things. But typically, there's no issues unless you got 40-11-7 elbows, and that's something that they don't recommend.
How many?
Anyway.
How many elbows you have?
8-11-7, just a lot of them. Well, I do get questions. They say, "Well, I got 3-4 elbows." I said, "Well, it's too late to go change them.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to remodel the whole room. So it's important that you just get the right CFM.
You put inline blowers in too?
Yeah, sure.
That's a good solution.
Remotes, inline blower, if you can, but you've got to get it to where you need to put it.
Right.
Like in a crawl space, if the crawl space has got duct work and everything else in your way, and you can't get it back there, then you're going to have to remove some duct work.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that duct work can become a major labor-intensive area of a job, and then you buy a new vent system, more CFM. Well, you got 6-inch duct. Well, it requires 8-inch duct.
Right.
Sometimes maybe 10-inch duct. So you've got to replace that 6-inch all the way out.
Right.
And it requires a lot of labor, and it ain't cheap.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully you got the joys to let you do it at the right
well,
size.
you can always figure that out. At least I always do.
Yeah.
If I can get there,
right.
If I can get there, we can figure it out. That's the true test. Like the one I got coming up that y'all recommend.
Yeah.
There's no way to get to the ductwork. Fortunately, it's 10 inches, so we're good.
Okay, good. There you go.
But I had to go out and make sure of that, But it is. I tell you what, let's go ahead and talk to John DeLand. Good morning, sir. How are you? John.
Good morning, Ray. I'm good. How are you?
I'm taking you ahead of the game here. We'll go ahead and get you before the break, okay?
I'm ready for you.
All right. Where you at now? I hear birds. Do I hear birds?
You hear birds. I'm sitting outside on my deck, sipping coffee, listening to birds, and talking to you.
There you go.
What a great Saturday morning.
Oh, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. Going to get up in the 70s. It's springtime. The birds are chirping. I had to get up early Monday morning and go up to the DMV because my driver's license had expired in January.
Uh-oh.
So I was a little past due. But anyway, the birds were chirping and everything. Man, and let me tell you something. There's a trick to getting into the DMV department, and I'll talk about that a little later. But right now, it's your turn, John. You got a new store coming, Crown Town Cannabis, right?
That is correct. I'm getting my own franchise. I've been working the last 3 weeks there virtually every day, getting stuff ready. We're close. I'm targeting April 1st, and that should happen. That'll be our open date.
April 1st, where?
It's in Salisbury on 117 West Innis Street. It's virtually middle of downtown Salisbury.
Cool.
Great location. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, you've been doing it long enough. How long you been with Crown Town now?
7 years.
So you were manager, I think you were over at the Central Avenue store, 2419 Central. Then
correct.
So you definitely know the product. Matter of fact, I got a question for you.
Okay.
If someone walked in the store and had their teeth removed and went, had surgery in their mouth, oral surgery, is there anything we could recommend for pain?
Yeah, I've got a sublingual oil that you just under your tongue, so it's easily get into your system. And it's high in CBG,
right,
which is the pain killing part of the plant.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that would be because with that type of a procedure, I don't really think chewing something up or even smoking something.
Chewing don't get it. It doesn't.
Yeah, but that would be my recommendation. Yeah.
I got a good friend.
It's got a combination of CBD and CBG in it.
I hear you.
I would believe that would be the best route for that situation.
Gotcha. And there's your typical question you may want to ask your Crown Town Cannabis representative. Someone called me the other day, well, actually twice, and asked for a recommendation for their mother. She's going through a lot of pain and discomfort right now, and they wanted to know what a solution was. Now, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor, but we know what we know, don't we?
Right.
Testimonials are unbelievable. But you've got your own store up in Salisbury. You sell Spinellos?
Yep, we're going to carry. I'll have all the same products that all of our other stores have. That's kind of one of the really positive factors is the company's good on. I'll get all my product from them.
Gotcha.
Just a chance to do my own thing. It's a fairly small space, which I actually like. You don't need it. Literally,
you don't need all that square footage. No.
Right, and I'd rather the customer come in and talk to me than it's not a self-serve store where you go pick out what you want and go to the cashier. It's just not at all what we try to do.
You help the customers.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you taking your time to call in today. And I'm excited about your new store. And April 1st, new Salisbury store opening downtown, Innis Street, you say?
Correct. 117 West Innis.
You got it. And I thank you for calling in, and we will talk again soon as we get closer. How's that?
That'd be fine. Yeah, I'll be happy to anytime. It's always a pleasure to chat with you on your show.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Now go make it a great weekend.
Thank you, Ray. You do the same.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
sir. And we're going to take a top of the hour break here, folks. We'll come back. More Roddey Player, Queen City Home Store in studio. Let's talk about it.
Grab another cup of coffee and join us for Hour 2. Roddey Players, President and CEO of Queen City Home Store, continues his conversation with Ray, talking about some stuff they've got coming up, as well as the appliances and the industry in general. About Your House is brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store, formerly known as Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances. Same grade store, different name. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable staff and product selection and lowest price guarantee. About Your House is also brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2, Roddey Player, Queen City Home Store, talking, well, we can talk about all kinds of things now, between appliances, furniture, small appliances, just, you probably get into that more so now than you were. Maybe,
not
maybe
a
not.
whole lot. Not a whole lot of the small stuff, Ray.
Don't do it much.
We really don't. No, it's.
I don't know why you would. Goodness gracious.
We sell bigger ticket items, and so the small stuff is just not something we've been real successful with over the years. They're in the Walmart or something like that. They'll pick up a small stuff, throw it in their cart and move on. But the small stuff, we do sell some things that General Electric's got some small appliances too, and they've got these countertop nugget ice machines.
Mm-hmm.
They're a rage. I mean, people love them. You use bottled water to put in there, and it'll make nugget ice for you, and instead of having to build one in
quickly.
Pretty quickly, yeah. And it stays full. It's always draining. And not draining, excuse me, it recycles.
Sure.
So it melts and recycles that bottled water. So you got to clean it, fairly regularly. But you just pour bottled water in there, and it starts making nugget ice. I can't tell you exactly how much time it is, Ray, but it's pretty quick. And it holds, I don't know, it holds a pound and a half of ice or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Not a big thing. Countertop.
So
thing,
these are new.
12, 14 inches wide. Yeah. It's been out for a couple of years. It was one of their first build projects that they came up with, entrepreneurial kind of platform where people try and get seed money, I guess, to invest in. It's called First Build. It's called Opal, and we've got those in the stores, and people love them. Sometimes you have a bar without an ice maker. You can put this on a countertop there, and it's a good looking piece, and it's neat.
Ice makers, there's a biggie.
Mm-hmm.
Sell a lot of ice makers, don't you?
We do, and it's one of our most favorite appliances. People love to buy them, love using them, but there's some maintenance required on them. And so I got to say that that's one of the appliances that transparency we have the most trouble with, because there's a lot going on with an ice machine. It's working all the time, always on,
always draining,
and so they're always working.
What are you doing with the wastewater? Do you know where it's going?
Oh boy,
is it going there correctly? Believe me, I've been involved with ice makers many times through the years, and they see the floor around the ice maker cavity kind of swell up and change. Well, immediately that's telltale sign you got a drainage problem.
Right.
You know, and each ice maker different brands of ice makers drain differently. Some of them have a pump, internal pump. Some of them don't. Some of them, am I right on this, right?
Some of them have built in, some of them are accessory pumps, and some of them, yeah. So yeah.
You know what's amazing about you?
The floor without it.
About you personally?
What's that?
Being that you grew up in this, you as an owner of an appliance store probably know more about appliances than most of your employees.
I've done it all. Done it for a long time, Ray.
Well, I know, and that's commendable, because you know you can't talk shop with just anybody,
right?
Because they don't know enough to talk shop. You know.
Yeah, it's but you know, when you're in the business, I don't sit in a glass house. I'm out kind of, I hate to say I'm out in the trenches with everybody, but we're involved in it every day.
You have to be.
Just for example, my son hadn't had quite the experience I've had, but he's seen what's going on in our logistics group, so he sees when things don't go quite right, and he's learning from that.
So, we learn from the mistakes, don't we?
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate that. I hate to learn from mistakes,
but that's the only way we learn.
But I try to head them off, for my people. I can see mistakes when they're coming.
Yeah,
it's like a train coming at you, and so I do my best to try and keep our people from getting in trouble. Like we talked about earlier, measure, take pictures, send this. If you'll get me the model, if I can find out the model or something you got in your house, I know it'll fit. And so we try and get that information from customers. So try and head those things off. But
matter of fact, I went out last week. I got to tell you this story.
Okay.
I was called. Somebody gave her my number and says, they told me that you'd understand or know what's wrong with my blower. It won't work, or it's making a noise. Well, it's 20-something years old, and it's got a lot of buildup on it. They're out of balance. They're vibrating. They're shot. The bearings are gone and all that. Okay, so we find 2 motors. I go out there and find them on Amazon. They're $700 at other places, but I found them on Amazon at Granger's, matter of fact.
Wow.
Because finding these blower motors are sometimes tricky, right?
Yeah, sure.
I found them. $332 a piece. Okay. Not that this is about price, but I'm just telling you can find them at various places.
Right.
Put them, work like a champ on 3 speed. No, on 2 speeds. But that 3rd speed didn't work. Okay, well, that's indicative of a control issue. Well, here we go. 4 or 5 months later, she calls me up. I smelled electricity and the blower quit working. Well, it was already indicated that you got problems with your control.
Right.
So that's what's wrong. Now we got to find the control. But see, my point to all this is they're looking to me because they think the blowers were bad. And the blowers aren't the problem now. See, there's another issue about appliances, troubleshooting the problems, the issues. And now you got to find the parts to replace them, and sometimes they're not available.
That's true. That's true. There's doing this a long time, Ray, and
I know
these manufacturers love selling the product, but the backside of it, and that's one thing we're gonna if we can't find if we're trying to sell appliances and there's no kind of service network, parts network behind it, it's going to be a bad day. So really, we work hard to make sure that our suppliers have strong service networks, have strong parts networks to back up their products down the road, because the appliances, we just got to make sure they work. I wouldn't expect somebody to buy something and 2, 3, 4 years from now it's not working and have trouble getting parts and having trouble finding a servicer for it. I just don't need that. That's the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night.
But it's hard to find people today. Even today, is it not?
It is.
Like our buddy Chris Raker.
Yeah.
He's at finding somebody to appliance repairman technician.
Yeah.
They're virtually gone.
Yeah. How's Chris doing these days, by the way?
He's fine. Good. Last time I talked, just frustrated because he can't.
Good.
You can't find the people he wants.
Yeah.
I
talked to him a couple of weeks ago too.
Service techs are back to put tools in schools. If we don't teach these kids how to use tools, it really affects everyone else and you as a customer who's going to fix that appliance. And right now, I'm the third or fourth person that shows up.
Right. It's just like you're talking about tools in schools. That learn how to turn a screwdriver, learn how to use a hammer. You know, what we're talking
How
about
to read
the-
a tape
yeah.
measure. And I keep dwelling on that. I'm sorry, folks, but
You know, back at East Mecklenburg when I was a kid, you know, actually probably McClinic Junior High School.
Did you go to McClinic?
I went to McClinic, Fighting Scott, man. But
Really?
we took a shop class there, and what were we?
What
we would've
neighborhood
been
y'all live in over there?
Lansdowne. Mom's still
Okay,
there.
yeah.
Mom's
She's still there?
1964, still there.
I got you.
Hadn't torn that house down yet. They're tearing a bunch
Oh,
of them
they
down.
got
building
tear
new
downs
ones.
going in Lansdowne?
Yeah, a bunch of them. But you know, we had a shop class. I think we built a birdhouse. We built a little old chair with a sliding drawer on, that kind of stuff. And we
I'm
know how to
building
do
bird
that.
houses with two nonprofits right now. Center 360 with about 15 kids, and West Boulevard Ministry. Bart Noonan, you know Bart.
Yeah.
And over West Boulevard Ministries, we got 15 to 20 kids over there. But you know the amazing thing?
What?
They got some mentors, some coaches, about 7 to 10 guys. Those 7 to 10 guys are just as ignorant, and I use that respectively, as the students. They're just as captive as to learning as the students, which I love.
I mean, we had to wire up light bulbs and stuff, you know, from start to scratch. You know,
Absolutely.
and you know,
Those days are gone.
yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame.
That doesn't exist, but we're working on it. But we need industry's help, and I appreciate what you've done to help. Believe
Sure.
it or not, you've done it by supporting this radio show.
Right.
Because we can't fly without sport.
Well, you got your group, the Remodeling Association, NARI.
NARI's been a big.
Got those kind of people too that can help, and I'm sure they're stepping in to help too.
Yeah, they are. They're
Your
stepping up.
sponsors are. I've seen them do it.
Yep.
So.
We're getting there.
It's but man, just the opportunity to build a career. You know, I'd hate to tell somebody not to continue their education, but if it's it's not right.
Hold on.
Right
Let's stop right there. I'm sorry, you hit a note.
Okay.
Not to continue their education.
Well,
let me tell you something.
Wrong, poor choice.
And I
got
to get on my soapbox here a minute.
Yep.
What the heck is education?
That's a great point.
Education is learning.
Sorry, guys. I set him up here.
Well, but you hit a note. I keep hearing education. Get your education or you won't be anything. Let me tell you something. You can accuse me or say what you want about me. But when you can learn to use your mind with your hands, be resourceful, do critical thinking, it's endless what you can accomplish and make. You always have employment. Always. If a guy walked up to you, Roddey, and you said you'll hire winners.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Every time. Well, let me tell you something. If you get out there and learn to use your hands and your mind, and you improve, you build things, you can repair things, you can figure things out. You're a problem solver, because that's what you become. There is a freedom behind that you cannot get any other way. You can't be cornered because you're a thinker. And we've killed thinking and critical thinking in our education system. So you want to tell me education? You get out there and bust your hand and you make mistakes. You screw a $300 appliance up and you have to pay for it out of your pocket. Tell me the difference in learning that way than learning to go to college. Tell me. There is no difference. The only way we learn as human beings is through application. We talked about it here on this show today, messing up, fixing mistakes. But you learn, don't you?
Absolutely.
That's called life. But I'm going to tell you, when I see kids and young adults alone feel the empowerment of being able to do things on their own without having to ask or go to someone for help, that's freedom. It's a freedom that, like I said, when I'm doing something like that, even as old as I am today, it gives me a feeling, it exhilarates me because I'm in control. I did that. I figured it out. Do I make mistakes? Unfortunately, yes. But that's how we learn, right?
Absolutely.
So further education, you're just going down a different pathway. The education pathway is still there.
Absolutely.
It's just different. It's not academics sitting behind a desk listening to a professor. Tell me, but other than that, you're going to learn just as much, just in a different pathway. I promise.
It's a great way to think about it. Really,
and it's going to benefit these children that don't know what they're going to do and never have been exposed to working with their hands. And imagination, creativity, resourceful thinking. We're not teaching that in schools. But you learned it in shop, didn't you, Roddey?
Did, absolutely. Absolutely, we did.
So that's all.
And you
I'm
talking about accomplishing something when you built that thing and completed it, and you had your final coat of varnish on that bird chair or birdhouse, whatever. Well, what a great feeling that was to accomplish something. You did it on your own, and I remember old Mr. Oxner and back in that shop class those days. It's mean. I still remember it today.
But here you are, 63
50 years ago.
50 years ago, and you did that, but it'll never leave you.
Yep.
Those are memories.
Yep. Absolutely.
And we need to give those to our children.
I think my mother still has that in her house, by the way, sitting next to her chair.
I've got a little bowl. I've got a little pottery bowl that's on my desk. And I use it for trash and just little things, little trash. I made it in the 7th grade in art class.
There you go.
In art class. I've got a cutting board, looks like a pig, that I made in Boy Scouts, sitting up on the wall. Yeah. All these trinkets, and I made my mother a pocketbook in 7th grade art, and it was a little lily pad with a frog jumping off it. But I loved art, and it's a DHT that I had drawn on the top of it, painted. Dorothy Hood Terry. That is what we need to put back in schools, or give back to kids. However we do it, through community organizations and other nonprofits. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church groups, homeschool networks. Let's put tools in schools. We'll be back.
Out more about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Mike Libretto here, owner of Libretto's Pizzeria and Spinello's Pizza. I opened my first pizzeria in New York City in 2004. Not long after that, I took my passion to Charlotte, North Carolina, serving up a taste of New York City with great pizzas and authentic Italian cuisine. Come in, relax, and enjoy Libretto's Pizzeria, located off Johnson Road in the Ballantyne area. Libretto's is also home of the famous Spinello's Pizza, a 10-inch infused frozen pizza, offered in both pepperoni and plain cheese. Visit Spinello'sPizza.com for more information, to find a retailer near you, or just to order for pickup at the restaurant. Libretto's Pizzeria is open 7 days a week, a great place to relax, dine in, take out, delivery, or for catering. Visit us online at Libretto'sPizzeria.com. Call us at 704-714-1442 for the best in New York pizza and Italian cuisine. That's Libretto's Pizzeria. Stop in and become part of the family.
Whether you're building new or remodeling old, let ABS Insulating make it comfortable. ABS Insulating knows the business of comfort. Using the latest products and technology, ABS offers an array of solutions, using fiberglass and spray foam, and all installed by certified technicians. ABS Insulating has been saving energy dollars with great customer service for over 30 years. They're a leader in the industry. Call them today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
The professionals at Kilo Exterminating Company have over 70 years of experience in pest control. Throughout the years, they always pride themselves on maintaining the highest standard of quality and customer service, with every technician being state certified. And moisture readings are standard with every inspection. Their top priority is ensuring your home is free from pests such as ants, mosquitoes, termites, and any other pests wreaking havoc on your home. That's Kilo Exterminating at 704-333-9855 or online, kilo.biz. That's 704-333-9855.
There's big news in the Carolinas. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances is now Queen City Home Store. For over 70 years, we've been your trusted retailer for appliances, electronics, and more. Now, we're taking it to the next level with a new name, a fresh look, and more ways to serve you. Offering the same outstanding service you've always counted on, while bringing you everything you need for your home. Queen City Home Store. Same great service, more possibilities. Visit us at queencityonline.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. Roddey and I are sitting here looking at a model number, and why this is a pretty good segue to talk about model numbers. What'd you say? Ooh.
Well, I don't know. It's
model numbers. Yeah. Whenever I do a job or an installation, I ask for the existing appliances because they say, "Well, I'm putting new ones in." Yeah, but your existing appliances fit in a hole. Fit in a certain scenario, and I want to know what that is because whatever goes back in there, has to fit in that parameter. So there's one of those upfront facts that personally I need, and it helps the appliance people too when you go into the showroom and you've got model numbers for existing appliances. Now here's a tip I highly recommend. I think Roddey will back this up. When you buy new appliances, and you get them put in your kitchen, like a lot of people are upgrading and say, my appliances are 20, 25, 30 years old. I'm going to buy all new refrigerator, range, ventilation, dishwasher, everything. When you do that, be sure you write all the manufacturers, make and model numbers, and serial numbers down and keep that information. Wouldn't you agree with that, Mr. Player?
Yeah, we have it on file too on our systems, but it's always good.
I understand. Mm-hmm. But if you keep that, you will, down the road, it will benefit you knowing that if you have any issues with those appliances.
Sure.
Because model number tells you everything about that appliance.
Well, part specific for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
on repair and maintenance and diameters of ductwork and various other, things, and sizes. Size is important.
You like you say, that piece you're looking at, you can't quite read that number. Sometimes the serial plates or whatever are not always easily accessible, especially in a hood, and they're hard to find. So if there's a file, we have records for stuff in our house. Keep it with your records, and if you ever have an issue like that, you can give us that model number. You can always search that model number online and figure out, parts listings, installation instructions, dimensions on the cutouts are always going to be accessible online for sure.
What on appliances? What's new?
So I just got back from Kitchen and Bath Show in February.
Where was it this year?
It was in Las Vegas. It's been in Las Vegas last year. I think it's going to Orlando next year, maybe.
I remember seeing Orlando. Yeah. I didn't know when it was.
But it's in Las Vegas. It's a big show, massive show. It's the Kitchen and Bath Show is along with the Home Builder Show, International Home Builder Show.
Oh, they're combined
at the same time. And so it's a huge turnout. A lot of people from Charlotte go, which is fun. To see everybody out there. But I'm gonna, from the appliance side of things, people want to customize things these days, want to make things their own. I guess they don't want what their neighbor has across the street or whatever. And so there's a lot of new colors coming out.
What's this color business?
Yeah, it's just People want to
Golly.
express themselves, and it's funny. I went
Take you back to the days of Harvest Gold and Avocado and Copper Tone.
One of the impressive displays was really G's Cafe, their display. And they had 4 seasons. The theme was 4 seasons of kitchens. So like a winter kitchen had that dark slate appliance in there, and then the summer kitchen and dark colors, and then the summer kitchen had, kind of pastelish kind of colors, and those white appliances in there, and then so they had a kitchen for every season. I guess I'm thinking that's a great idea. So we'll just change our appliances out every quarter going forward. We'll buy 4 sets of appliances for each kitchen. So but it's really, they just want to make it their own. It's like I say, you're seeing refrigerators come out and you customize the handles. You can get bronze, you can get gold, you can get white hand, any kind of color you want, pewter or whatever kind of handle you want on, and make it look like you want it to. So we're seeing a lot of that. Jenner's doing that. They're seeing leather fronts on products these days, leather handles on refrigerator handles. KitchenAid's got a new line coming out. There's a color called Juniper, which is a darkish green color, a full line. Not just a range or whatever, but a full line. And so,
Lord of mercy, like it wasn't hard enough before.
Yeah. And so a lot more SKUs to deal with, and these accessories to customize them is not easy for us. It's great for the consumers to get what they want, but it's hard for us to manage all these different model numbers and everything. And and there'll be some internal digit, that's different, and it's easy to make mistakes picking them out. But I get it. We have the ability to customize it. People want to make it their own, and like I say, you don't want to look like your neighbors, and so it makes sense to me. And so, but we're seeing things: reds, greens, oranges, yellows, all kinds of colors from different manufacturers. But there's a lot out there. There really is. And so, color ventilation is a big thing now. Jenner's got some new technology behind downdraft ventilation.
Really?
It's going to be fascinating.
So they're going to change it again.
I haven't seen the installation part of it yet, right? To your point, because changing out those old Jenner ranges is not easy. We know that was hard.
That one down.
Yeah, but it's still not easy. I know it's not, but
it can be, and that's one I have to explain to people.
Yeah.
The blower you have now is not the same blower you're going to get, and it's oriented different.
So it's a partnership with some ventilation company that's put their technology in this, and so it has a much bigger capture without the telescope.
Right,
up and down. It's a much bigger capture, and we saw it demonstrated, and it'll also recirculate. So you can have it come out the kick space on the counter, something like that. So that's to get a lot of flexibility to keep them to crawl into the house. I'm not sure it's not a great scenario, I don't believe, but for those who can't do anything else,
recirculating. If you any way to vent a kitchen, you should vent a kitchen.
Well,
especially you rental property people that don't want to spend the extra money. But man, what you're doing for the life of the cabinets and the cleanliness of the kitchen, it blow your mind.
That's what they don't get, the cleanliness of the kitchen. That's what nobody gets.
The cleanliness of a kitchen. You go into a kitchen that's not ventilated, and there is grease all over that kitchen, especially on the upper portions.
And the detail around the cabinet doors and all this kind of stuff.
Lord have mercy. It's bad.
Yeah.
So
use it.
Yeah.
Use it.
Oh, absolutely. I've gone into 15, 20-year-old hoods or ventilation systems that don't even look like they ever used it. But then again, not everybody cooks the way, some people cook. But ventilation has become on the rise lately.
But you're going to see this technology. It really is fascinating technology. Great capture area, and so it's like.
So that's Jenner's coming out, and Jenner's same thing as KitchenAid.
It is.
And
yeah,
I got it. KitchenAid and Jenner, and there's a lot of crossovers with appliances.
Yeah, kind of you think of a good, better, best, like, you had the Chevrolet Cadillac kind of deal. They've got that too. Whirlpool's their base brand, and the KitchenAid, and they'll call Jenner their premium brand.
Whirlpool Jenner is the premium.
Yeah, over KitchenAid. So Whirlpool, KitchenAid,
hold
and
on.
Jenner. Yep.
So KitchenAid's below Jenner.
That's what they would like to think.
They would like to think that.
I love the KitchenAid brand's a great brand, I think, and does an awful lot. But Jenner it does have some extra things that Jenner does, especially for some look. Some things that they do with those some of the burners, the way they operate, things like that. Some are framed, some are structure, but then they'll amp it up a little bit with the Jenner brand product.
That's good to know.
And G's the same way. G's got several brands out there, based on electric brand. They've got a profile brand, then their cafe, and then their monogram brand is their premium brand. So we're
How's
lucky.
GE doing?
They're doing great. They're having good last. They've been on a 3 or 5 year run. It's been very good for their brand. Coming out of COVID, everybody struggled during COVID, but everybody's kind of recovered now from that. Things are settling back in. Some of the people, the Sub-Zeros and the Wolf, kind of suffered a little bit during COVID with availability and things like that. They've recovered fully, and really, to be honest with you, our business is very strong with them. They've gotten back a lot of market share they struggle with because it was hard to, I'm gonna say the Sub-Zero, that big built-in refrigeration business, that was kind of a product of the late 80s. And so those things are 30 and 35, 40 years old. Some of them still working. And so we're it's a replacement business now. So when COVID hit, it was hard to replace one of those with a Sub-Zero because availability is tough, but they've recovered full availability. And so we're back, they're back strong.
Well, refrigeration's come a long way too, especially in current modern kitchens.
That is crazy because, once again, we want more capacity.
Bigger.
Yeah. So now we've got different type of insulation in refrigerators, different types of cooling systems that are linear compressors, thinner insulation. And so,
more heat pump technology.
Exactly. And so, but the refrigerator interior capacities are getting bigger and bigger. So like I say, a 25, I looked at something today of new models coming out. Last year's model is a 25 cubic foot refrigerator, and the new model is going to be a 31 cubic foot refrigerator in the same footprint.
What?
So it's installation. It's great technology.
But I will say this, back to the measuring tape business, you want to measure the height of your refrigerator hole because that one measurement right there gets you in trouble a lot.
We had one yesterday where, it was just 1/8 of an inch off. And
that's where 1/8 of an inch is a lot.
Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to screw the feet down as much as you can, turn the wheels down and all this kind of stuff. But like I say, and I even saw a picture of them trying to get it in the hole, and it was just, you're thinking, man, can you not trim that? But the way the cabinet set up, it would be hard to do. It's impossible to get that one in. So they got to come out and reselect. And unfortunately, they wanted the biggest, baddest thing they could get in there.
And see, here we go.
Do it.
If they just would have measured, and that's when 1/8 of an inch is 1/8 of an inch. You cannot get a 30-inch range in a 29 7/8 inch hole.
A metal refrigerator is not flexible. You can't smash it in.
You can't smash them. You can't compress it, and it won't move. But these are the kind of issues, especially in new construction, when we say 1/8 of an inch, but a 29 7/8 is not 30 inches.
Right.
And sometimes with the granite and the rock people, they get a little off. Right.
Right. We'll see things too when you measure stuff that, you got to measure all of the space. You think you've got a 36-inch wide space, then you got shoe mold at the bottom, or your countertop overhangs a half an inch over that thing in that space. Which shouldn't, but if it's left that way, then you got to deal with it.
And here's another one. I love when Roddey comes on the show here because we talk about all the issues that you are going to suffer from. It's going to cause you as much stress as it does the people in Queen City that bring it out there. Yeah. This is really important, what I'm about to tell you. When you buy a higher end appliance, such as Wolf, Viking, and others, Thermador and others, there's certain places, receptacles in the electrical feeds need to be. It's written in the specs. Remember us having the discussion about model numbers? This is why I pull up model numbers. Because it gives you all the recommendations for placement of the gas line, the electrical line, the ductwork, and any other issues that you're going to need to know about. But especially receptacles, 220 lines coming in behind your range. It can't be in the upper half because it'll push the range out into the room more. There's a place at the bottom of the range where it's supposed to go. So when you're building the house or remodeling the house, the electrician needs to be aware of that, or otherwise he's going to come back out there. And you go out there sometimes and the gas line is in the wrong place. Why is it in the wrong place? Because it is. The manufacturer calls for it to be in a certain place because in ventilation. If you're putting a downdraft, that downdraft takes 2.5 inches on the back side of that cabinet. Nothing can be in its way, or it'll have to move. All these details are details, and then that's why the people at Queen City Home Store are pretty bright people. They've seen these issues. They've seen the problems that they cause. So beware when you buy higher-end appliances. There's requirements. There are requirements.
Well, and we'll find things, like I say, if you think about the gas line coming up out of the floor for a range or something like that, there's a certain place where there might be a cutaway or a space on the back of that range where that gas line will fit so that you can push the range back against the wall. And if it's in the wrong place, then doesn't have that same indention or cutaway, whatever, so it won't go back far enough. We had one yesterday where they put a receptacle for an oven. They put a receptacle in the oven cavity, and it's supposed to be in the cabinet above the oven cavity. Then just the wire goes up in there and hooks up. So it's just communicate. It's communication like anything else. The information's there, the planning. If you have the right information, build it the way it's supposed to be. Don't say, well, I think it'll work this way. There's no reason it shouldn't work this way. They put those specifications out there for a reason. And so if you don't build it that way, then it won't work.
Actually, they spend a lot of money writing these publications to make sure you have the information. Some manufacturers, I have to admit, are better than others with their installation manuals and information, operation manuals. But these are really, really important things that you need to know up front. And in remodeling, you need to know this information in the planning stages of it. So you only do it one time.
Yeah.
So many times I go in and look at a hole where a range is going. I said, what range you got going in here? And they give me the manufacturer. I said, it won't work. Why? Because your receptacle's where the foot is on the appliance, and it won't allow. And you put a 2, and believe it or not, those range plugs are 1.5 inches to 2 inches deep, and they will hold an appliance out that much, and that will make you don't want that. And people, I hate to rain on your parade, and I become the bad guy when I go in there and tell people this stuff.
Yeah, it's better than starting a project and having to stop in the middle of it, then figure it out.
And I'm gonna throw another one out here at you because it's really important that you be aware of this. When you buy a new gas appliance, if you live in rural America, you need to know what you're putting in: propane or LP.
And they don't know.
The liquid propane is LP, natural gas.
Yeah.
You want to know natural gas or propane because the appliances come with different jets. And if you order it with the right jets, you'll be a lot better off because one was installed here about a month or so ago, and I got a call, Ray, something's wrong with my range. I says, what? It's flaming up. I said, I know exactly what's wrong. And I laid in bed one night thinking of you and wondered if you got a propane jetted or a natural gas jet. And you're on propane and you got natural gas jets. She said, that's right. I said, it won't work. You get these big flames coming up. Beware when you order your gas cooktop appliance. If you're on propane, you need to tell them that, right?
We should be asking. We should be asking because that's another question we're going to ask you. And it does surprise me. Some people just don't know. They've got a tank out in the backyard, and that's the answer. But it's propane gas, and it does take different jets. And normally, the ranges some will come with it, some will not, and so sometimes it's an accessory we have to bring out there. But we try and convert those before we make the delivery.
I've done quite a few, and I did some European models before. I love doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's tricky.
Yeah.
It is. You ever put new jets in a new range?
I hadn't specifically, no.
Boy, I have several times. And first time I was asked, I said, I'm sure I can deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up, pulled the model numbers up, and they give you all the instructions.
It takes some time to do that.
Oh, and it's tricky. I use hemostats sometimes. That's my little wrench, little tweezers. Those things, you can't get to them.
Yeah. And then even when you get there, if you convert it, there's still some modifications to get the oxygen flow right.
The regulators have to be changed.
So we try and do that because it takes time in the house, and we don't want to spend too much time in the house. So we do them in the warehouse, and then we come and have to tweak them when we get out there a little bit.
Yep. But beware, folks. All you need to do is know if you have propane or natural gas. It is different, and it requires different jets. So beware. We got a caller. Mike, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ray. How are you?
I am marvelous, thank you. What could we
That's
do to
good,
help you
Roddey.
today?
Yeah, I have a question for Roddey. I am in the market for a new dishwasher, and the question I have for you is how far outside the Charlotte area do you service? The location of the home where this dishwasher is going in is about 30 miles to the west of Lincolnton.
Yeah, we take care of that market. We really cover, we go up the mountains all the time. So I go up 321 and west of 321, really. So we really cover. We don't go to Asheville. We don't go to the Outer Banks, but we cover most of North Carolina these days with these stores we've got.
Okay.
Now, so we can sure take care of you.
All right. And the next question would be then if we, that's my wife and me, wanted to come, how would we choose a dishwasher? I would imagine we come to one of your showroom locations.
It would be great to do that. Yeah, we've got a store on I-85 at Billy Graham Parkway. It's not too far from you. Just right down 321 and then go north on 85. It's right past exit 33. Big showroom there. Great, super staff there. But go see there. But I want to ask you a question. I just written a note about dishwashers with Ray. I'm going to ask Ray, how many times have you gone out to put in a dishwasher and there's a new floor sitting on top of an old floor?
I talked about it last week. Did, yeah.
So I'd ask you to look at that dishwasher before you come in there, take some pictures of it, but also have you ever put a new floor in there? Is it the existing floor from the initial construction? What kind of floor have you got?
Build up, Mike. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's a vinyl floor, and that's really about all I can tell you. It's kind of a unique situation. It's where my wife lives, and we don't live together. Okay. And so the measurements were taken by her.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break. Okay. Because I'm up against the clock, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about this issue because Roddey kind of laughs about it because
I just wrote it down.
This is a common issue, and we're going to use you, Mike, to tell people all about it. Okay.
I'll share our horror story. I'll wait for you on the other side.
All right, you got it, brother. Thank you. And Mike Ross on the phone, and got Roddey Player in the house today talking. Queen City Home Store, appliances, TVs, furniture, you name it. We'll talk about it. Come on back. We'll be here.
Find out more about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Sam Otero of AteroMedia.com, and I love empowering my clients and partners to make the most out of today's latest digital media tools. We specialize in building production systems and podcast studios for small to mid-sized churches and local businesses here in Charlotte. Do you need new media production gear? Do you need help learning how to use it? You're in great hands with our family business, Atero Media of Charlotte. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Steve Helms here with the Al Metal Driving Corporation. The Al Metal Driving Corporation is a full-service driving company. Regardless of the problem, we can handle it. Does your clothes dryer take longer than 45 to 50 minutes to dry a load? If so, you need your dryer vent cleaned or checked. The clothes dryer is the most inefficient appliance in the house and should never take longer than 45 to 50 minutes. Call Al Metal Dryer Vent today at 704-846-8368 or online at almetaldryervent.com. That's 704-846-VENT. Have you cleaned your dryer vent lately?
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595. Or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
Carolina Foundation Solutions is a family-owned and operated company and a licensed general contractor in North and South Carolina, providing foundation solutions from the mountains to the sandy shores of the coast. At Carolina Foundation Solutions, our objective is to help educate, offer guidance, and provide assistance. With over 200 years of combined experience, our family of experts are ready to help protect and repair your largest investments. If you have a problem, we have a solution. Call 877-883-4626 or online, carolinafoundationsolutions.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. Talking to Mike Ross up in Lincolnton about dishwashers. You back there with us, Mike?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, great. Now, before the break, we were talking about what I call dishwasher encapsulation. And it's when you got an older dishwasher installed and they come put a new floor, be it vinyl, but typically when they replaced or put vinyl down, they put a piece of 1/4-inch underlayment under it as a good base over the old, and then they'll add the vinyl on top of that. What you're adding roughly a 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. Well, that's 3/8 of an inch. It can sometimes trap that dishwasher in the hole. So you should measure from the floor to the bottom edge of the countertop before you go and buy a dishwasher. Most dishwashers, 95% of them, that's probably even more than that, are 24 inches wide. They fit a 24-inch wide cavity. But you definitely need to know the height of it to make sure whatever you buy is going to go in that hole. And I don't care if it doesn't have a new floor. Still, I would measure the height from the floor to the edge of the countertop before you go in to buy a dishwasher. I don't care who you are or what the situation. Just have those facts with you. Anything else they need to know?
Yeah, no, we were talking about his floor, and he said he had a vinyl floor. Typically, what I see, the vinyl floor is not always a problem, but where they put tile on top
ceramic
of something,
tile,
put
you're
wood
right.
on top of something,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you can't get the old dishwasher out, and you have to cut it out. And we're talking about the new dishwashers; it's a little bit easier to get them in than it is to get the old one out. But I guess that's the thing. That's the thing we hope our customers will look at. Take pictures of it. Take pictures of what the floor looks like. And
you can take the toe kick. There's 2 screws that hold a little black toe kick on most dishwashers, and you can take that off, and you can see how easy it is written to get in and out. Do you plan to do this yourself, Mr. Ross?
No, I'm going to have whoever we buy it from deliver it and install it and take the old unit away.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to tackle it myself.
I understand.
But but we I don't know how much time you want to spend on my story here, but
I love stories.
I say my wife and me, I was aware of the width of the dishwasher needing to be measured. I didn't think about the height. I thought they were all the same height. Okay, so
that's
we
why
the width,
we brought it up.
Right, and this dishwasher is about a 30-year-old dishwasher, so I thought maybe there's been a change in dimensions over the years, but we measured 24 inches. My wife measured actually 24 inches. So we go into the local box store here in Lincolnton, and we picked, they're all 24 inches, at least that's what I remember. So we picked one that we liked, just the looks and the features. And so 10 days later, they come out to deliver it and install it. And without taking it out of the box, the installer said, this dishwasher is too tall. It will not fit into your unit. Now, I don't know, into your hole. I don't think it had to do with a new floor that's put in or anything. It's just the dishwasher. I didn't realize they come in different heights. So that one got returned, no problem. The box store was very gracious about, taking it back and starting over from square one. But then the second unit that we picked out, which is just barely short enough to go into our hole, it turns out it was going to be another 10 days or 2 weeks before they were going to be able to deliver that one. And my wife went nuts because she blames it all on the store. And I'm just saying, look, it's just one of those things. And so she says, cancel the whole thing. I just want to start over at another store. And to be honest, she's saying the other box store. And so that's where we are right now. And then I hear your show this morning and I'm going, I'd love to buy one from Queen City. But,
sure.
But we got to factor in, we got to drive to Hickory.
Well, let me say this.
To the other box store.
Let me say this, and this might work for you, and Roddey can help me here. But if you take the model number of what you bought, the last one, you go online, queencityonline.com, and you can literally purchase it online with using all the specs from that last one, with the exception of making sure it's going to fit. Okay. But a lot of people can buy online.
Mm-hmm.
Can they not?
They can. They sure can. But I'd still like to, since he's already knows he's got an issue, I'd like to still run through that drill about making sure that the opening.
Oh,
so
I'd like to know the opening.
I'd like to know what the first model was, the second model, see if it really is shorter or what. But like I say, we want to make sure we get something right for you, and we'll get you the right price. I'm sure of that. And like I say, if you'll, I'll get involved personally and try and get a little bit of extra help on it too, for the hassle that you've been through. But can you get down to the Charlotte store here, or is it too tough to get in? Because like I said, there's when you're buying online.
Yeah, I can get to the Charlotte store, but if the option Ray's talking about, because I've got all the paperwork for both units, and I could definitely see if you carry it. It was a. I can't even remember the model number.
It's on the paper. You can get all that.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you got the copy of the receipts or whatever. Mm-hmm.
I can check that out because she was happy with that dishwasher and the features, and it was quiet. Like 48 decibel, and price is not really the issue. Within reason.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind paying a little more, but for her to drive to your store, it's about an hour and a half, hour and 15-minute drive, a little bit far. But let me check out that option about going online, because I'd love to buy it from your store.
Well, can we get his number offline? His phone number
Sure,
offline?
I got it right here.
I'll get somebody to reach out to you here in a little bit. And just kind of run through this, and we'll start from scratch if that's okay with you. Just make sure we run through those dimensions again, and I'll get them to check out those model numbers. The first one you picked out, the second one you picked out, and we'll see if we can make it work. But we'll try that first. Yeah, that's fine. I get it, but that's certainly within our service area. And but I'll work on getting some special help on some pricing and installation, all that kind of stuff too.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Roddey. Thank you, Ray.
I'm gonna pass your number on to Roddey here. Okay, Mike.
Yep. Please do. Not a problem.
All right, sir. Very good.
Thank you, buddy.
Right.
We'll call you in a little bit.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, dishwashers apparently are one of the bigger issues you face, as you spoke of too in the break.
So here's the other thing, that setting expectations for how they work today versus how they worked, what do you say, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Imagine the amount of water and that thing used 30 years ago compared to today. The industry and the environmentalists, and which I'm all about trying to protect the planet and everything. But there's certain things we have to have water and to clean dishes, to clean clothes, and they keep pushing us to use less and less and less water, less and the energy, less power. And so some of these things are actually make it harder to have a dishwasher perform. And so And so that's the kind of thing we run into, that the people talk about it's not drying as well as my old one used to. It's because they may not. Some of them don't have heaters in the fans like they used to. Some do. You got to pay a little more money for those. But the other thing that people seem to forget about is using rinse aid. If you're not using rinse aid on a dishwasher, it's not going to get your dishes dry. Period. It's just those.
I didn't know that.
Well, yeah,
of course, I don't like dishwashers.
I got you.
No,
And
I
you know
don't.
what?
I hate dishwashers.
I tell you what, it's funny though, Ray. If somebody's dishwasher's out, they want it now.
Oh, I know.
They want it now.
Oh,
They
believe
really
me.
do. But yeah, there's certain things you have to do, and it's one of those things. You put the rinse aid in there. I don't know, every month or two or whatever. You forget about it, and then you run out of it, and your dishes aren't drying. But you have to use that for a dishwasher, and all the manuals will tell you that. But plastics, the way dishwashers work, especially the stainless steel ones, you can't open the door right away when the cycle's done. There's a part of the process is to dry the dishes. The stainless steel cools faster than the plates and the glass does, and when the stainless cools, it pulls the moisture off of those plates, off of those glasses.
We need to
and
have
that's part of the drying process.
We need to have a seminar about dishwashers.
Yeah, we do.
I
But
mean,
there's just a
really.
lot to it, and so I love it when people do the dishes at night. Let it run at night, then it runs the full cycle. You're not anxious to get it emptied out. Some people are anxious to get the dishes out of the dishwasher into the cabinets, and so if they do it too quickly, they're going to be damp. But it's part of the process. But we're using less water than we used to. They're using less than 2 gallons of water now in a dishwasher. And they probably used 7 or 8 back in the day. I can't remember the exact numbers, but just so much more efficient, which is great. Use less energy, less water, which saves us all money. But some of the customer experiences are not quite what I'd like for them to be.
We ought to just slip on down to the bottom of the dishwasher and talk about filters. What do you think?
Has a filter? What are you talking about? I get that a lot. Have you cleaned the filter? There's some of them have a manually filter that must be manually cleaned.
And you open your dishwasher and you smell this funky smell. Okay. Smells like rotten something, right? Well, it is. It's at the bottom of your dishwasher called the drain.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people do not rinse their dishes the way they should. And they put real funky dishes in the dishwasher, and that big food that you didn't rinse off can't go through the pump.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore they got a little filter. Am I right here?
Absolutely.
Correct? Yeah. And it's easily changed back to the customer manuals.
Yeah.
If you need more info, it's in your manual. That's why you get one with your dishwasher.
So I'll say that the detergent manufacturers will tell you to be careful how clean those dishes are. Those dishes are going in the dishwasher. You need some food particles in there to activate that detergent to make it clean. So if you clean your dishes before you put them in the dishwasher,
I just said rinse them, not clean them.
Yeah. Scrape them, rinse them.
Just get
but
the
don't
big
clean
particles off. Don't clean them.
Yeah,
just rinse
because
them.
that we need some food to make that detergent.
But you don't want to put a plate of spaghetti in your dishwasher, okay? And the potatoes that are on the plate, please get the majority of them off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say here. Not wash them, but see, me, I just soon wash the darn things and be doing it, be done with it.
I guess
that's just me.
Yep, I got you.
There's a story behind dishwasher with my son. I took it out one day. He came home from school. He says, "Dad, dishwasher's gone." I said, "You noticed? How are we gonna wash
no,
dishes?"
he's not. I'm looking at him.
I said, he said, "How are we gonna wash dishes?" I said, "That's the ticket right there.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
1 hand, 2 hand.
Yeah.
Works great. Let's learn." We'll be back. More About Your House coming your way.
Grab another cup of coffee and join us for Hour 3. Roddey Players, President and CEO of Queen City Home Store, continues his discussion with Ray, talking appliances, what's new with Queen City, and what's on the horizon. About Your House is brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store, formerly known as Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances. Same great store, different name. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. About Your House is also brought to you in part by PutToolsInSchools.org, bringing awareness and connecting students to tools of the trades and then raising the awareness of the many career pathways. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
All right, welcome back. Got Roddey Player in Queen City Home Store talking appliances, furniture. You know, backing up just a little bit, furniture. Now, furniture's not been your wheelhouse. I know home furnishing he has.
Mm-hmm.
Have you hired a staff of furniture people?
Oh man,
decorators,
yeah, absolutely,
decorators, and all them kind of people around all that.
So we have a lead decorator that goes into homes and measures and takes samples and swatches and things like that. Yeah, Amy in Pineville does that. These new stores are more are not quite as design oriented, but we've got some really great stuff. We hired a furniture buyer who's got some really good looking product in there. We're real excited about. It's high quality stuff. Like I said, domestic manufactured. All that we could is domestic manufactured out there, and so we're excited about that. Some of the brands are, it's furniture. There are a few brands out there that you might recognize the name. Not all of those brands that you recognize are the companies they used to be. Like you think about Broyhill and some of those names out there. They're not the company. Shouldn't say the brand, but some of these brands aren't what they used to be.
Since they took manufacturing out of the country, everything changed. And I hate that because the Carolinas were a leading manufacturer of furniture for years and years.
But there's still, there is a lot of manufacturing still going on. We've got a brand named CR Lane that's made up in that Newton Conover. CR Lane.
Oh, it's CR
different.
Lane.
Yeah,
it's different from Lane.
It is. And so they're made up in the Newton Conover area and customized, beautiful fabrics, things like that. There's a company out of Mississippi, Franklin is the name, but it's got some great motion furniture. Just some really great brands, but the Carolinas has always been a hub and still is. You remember High Point kind of lost their emphasis or lost their market for a while, but it's come back strong and pre-market, I think is this week coming up actually. Or next week. And so a lot of activity up there, but furniture market, man, the people that come in there, it is crazy to see what happens that town of High Point up there. It's a beautiful to see all these tens of thousands of people coming for that market over, that week.
The secretary on the board of Put Children Schools, she worked in resort planning and decorating for years.
Yeah.
And she, even though she's backed out and somewhat retired, she still goes every year.
Yeah.
She said it's one of the highlights of her year. She just enjoys going up there and seeing the changes, what's new, what's happening.
But we hired the buyer late last year, and I went to market with them in October. And just the interest that the manufacturers had in what we were doing as a company, to be jumping in with both feet,
right?
And the square footage that we put in the stores, the brands that we're buying, the great brands, and so the industry was, be candid, we were kind of the buzz of the show, of the market, because they're always looking for people that are growing, and during the last couple of years, there's been a lot of companies that have been shrinking. That was a lot of fun. We got a great team, and like I say, the new stores that we brought on, their expertise was in furniture, and so we're teaching them the appliance business. And so as we begin to roll the furniture back into our Charlotte stores, and I can talk a little bit about this. There's a big transition in our company coming up in the Charlotte stores too. We're going to just have some changes. The square footage will increase in some of them. Some will be relocated. Some of them will be remodeled with some bigger store footprints, bigger retail space footprints. And so just watch. We'll talk about them as they happen. But there's going to be a tremendous transition as we bring furniture into the Charlotte stores, and it's really great looking stuff. It really is.
Well, actually, you're kind of doing a reversal role in the big city, Charlotte. You're going to encapsulate that furniture market in the stores,
right?
And in the other rural markets that you're going into furniture, you're putting appliances in those stores.
Exactly. So it is, and so it's a great marriage of the two industries. To be honest with you, like I said, it's products for the home, products for the home that you can buy at the home store. It's a great fit, and it's a great compliment, I guess.
And financing.
This is something we've been working on for quite a while. So, I got to say our core customer, there are a lot of cash paying customers out of credit cards and things like that. And so, there's a lot of consumers out there that unfortunately have to pay a higher price to get the financing that whatever position they're in from a credit perspective. You're talking about credit scores and things that,
the game.
It's a terrible, terrible game, to be candid with you. And so
I hate it.
We have financing for virtually every consumer out there, but they don't have to pay that high premium price. And so that's what we learned going into these other stores, that we're kind of, finance furniture companies, but we're offering them a much, much lower price than they could get. There's rent to own stores out there that, you're paying.
Oh, you're paying premium.
You're paying 2.5 times what the cost of the goods should be. So we've got options to buy at a much, much lower price. And some of those customers who might not think they can buy from us, we can come on in. Let us talk to you. We've got ways to do that. We've got a waterfall that'll put you in the right program. But like I said, without paying that higher price. So it hurts me to see that some people have to pay that rent to own kind of price out there, but they can come to us and pay essentially the same price that a cash credit card customer would be paying. And so we feel really good about that, our offerings. And so, but we're excited.
And
about
will that be across the board, no matter where you go to Queen City Home Stores?
Yeah, all the stores have that in place now. And so it is, like I said, it's a waterfall that they can come in and put their information in. It puts them in the right space. And we're having some very high approval rates too, which is great.
Awesome. So don't let the financing hold you back. Go in there and talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, the stores are good looking stores. Our stores look like they're very nice places, which we want to have a nice store. But we've got products for everybody. We've got the least expensive refrigerator in the market. We've got the most expensive refrigerator in the market, and everything in between. Same thing with the washers, dishwashers. So don't think that there's a barrier to coming in because you've got some credit challenges out there. We should be able to help.
What's the hot? Okay, let's switch gears here. I appreciate that on the news on the money.
Yeah.
The money side of the situation.
Yeah.
And that's good information.
Right.
Because these rent to owns will literally
tough. tough.
They take you to the cleaners, man, big time. We were talking dishwashers.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be Bosch was top drawer.
They're great. They're
still up there.
They're great. Bosch is great. KitchenAid's great. Miele is great. You'll find that in Bosch, they got price points all across the board. You can buy a dishwasher for under $500 in Bosch, but you can pay $1,800, $1,900 for one too. Miele is a great dishwasher. Probably as top.
They
of
got
line as
2
there
drawer
is.
dishwasher, don't they?
Not Miele. That would come from Fisher and Paykel.
Okay, Fisher Paykel. I can't remember all. I can't keep up.
Those all come out of New Zealand actually, and they're flexible. And you can get a single drawer dishwasher too, if you want to put one. And that's our special application. If you put it in a bar, for example, without having to take up a lot of space. There's actually
they have 18-inch dishwashers.
They do. That's another special application. And so it used to be that it was kind of an inferior kind of dishwasher, but there's some higher quality ones out there now that we're real happy with the quality of them. But that's great stuff. Cafe has got a double drawer and a single drawer dishwasher too from GE. That's a great product. We're selling a lot of it too.
And I will say, don't be surprised if you find out, and I'm not saying this is a fact, so please don't misunderstand me. It's amazing how some manufacturers make other manufacturers' goods.
There's some of that. There sure is.
There's more than you think.
I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. But it happens because they want to have their common look across the brand. There are some manufacturers, if you look deep into, that are probably some of the least lower cost manufacturers, I should say, that might have a higher brand logo on the product,
right?
Because that brand doesn't have the factory to build a refrigerator, for example, or to build a dishwasher, but they've got a great cooking product, for example. Even some of the professional range companies may not have a brand there, but we can talk to customers about that too.
Can I ask? I shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway.
You're bashful about that kind of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm really reserved. I kind of hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. High-end ranges.
Yeah.
Recommendation.
They're getting expensive now.
They are.
They really, and I do want to talk about that a little bit too, because there's a lot of pressure out there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Wolf is the top of the heap.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad it came out of your mouth.
It's a wonderful product out there.
If you're going to spend the money, go ahead and invest it in a good range, and Wolf is top drawer.
And there's some that will have a technology pitch behind it. But technology is one thing, but
it breaks.
It's just Wolf is it's just professional product. I wouldn't say that it's simple by any stretch, but it's high quality. Look at how much they weigh. There's a new category of appliances. Unfortunately, a new category of appliances coming out called affordable luxury. That term's kind of it's a misnomer.
Who makes it?
Well, there's some brands out there.
Oh, they're different brands.
Yeah, they're different brands that are called affordable luxury, and they have the look of the luxury product.
I know one of them, but I'm not going to mention the name.
I'm not going to go there either. But but I just hate that, and we've got some companies out there trying to push this affordable luxury. And to be honest with you, Ray, we just don't have it today, and fight it. Not everybody's gonna pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a professional range when they can buy one for $3,000 or so.
And there are some darn good ranges at a good price point.
But
if you're going to invest and keep your house a while and like to cook,
and that's where we see those things, the house flippers. We see them buying those affordable luxury kind of things.
They're going for the look.
They're going for the look, and so I hate to.
I know one brand that they push it big time, and
some of those brands will see recalls out of them and stuff like that too. And you're buying a lot more gas ranges, and I hate to see a recall on a gas range. That's pretty scary stuff. But so we're trying to see what the impact of that stuff is. But affordable luxury is kind of is something to be leery of.
Affordable
I think. But we want to be able to have luxury products, but let's make sure it's quality. And you can look at the specifications and see that there might be a 30% heavier weight to the product of a Wolf range versus some of these other brands out there call themselves affordable luxury. and so there's a reason for that. You know,
it's if you install them, you can tell the
Yeah.
reasons very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And there's one high-end brand that I wouldn't put in my doghouse, but I'm not going to tell you
Yeah,
that.
I hear you. But
every time I put one in, I have to do something, fix it.
Oh, okay.
From the factory, QC.
Yeah.
Quality control, just aren't there in all the appliance manufacturers. I'm just telling you the way it is, seeing it as an installer and a person who's played with them.
Yeah, well, Ray, it's my business, and I got to be able to sleep at night, and so we want to make sure we're selling quality products out there. And if we can't, like I said earlier, if we can't find servicers, if we can't find a parts network behind it, then it's just not something I'm interested in doing. And maybe it probably keeps our revenue. We're probably missing out on some business out there, but I don't miss out on sleep. Put it that way. It's a fair trade.
Y'all, you handle a great line of products.
We're lucky. We're lucky. We have great suppliers. Our industry is healthy. We've got good suppliers in industry for the most part, and those are the ones that we serve, that we sell, and I want to make sure they're represented on our floors out there. But and we've got a great support behind the brands too. So from sales training to make sure that our people are the highest trained sales professionals in the marketplace. So when you come into one of our stores, you're going to learn more about what you're buying than you would anywhere else. I know that people want to look online and learn about things, but in my mind, looking online at things, you only see what's on that screen in front of you. So there's a breadth of information and product outside of what you see in that window. And you may not know the answers or the questions to put in your Google search to determine what's the best product for you out there. Come in and talk to us. We're going to ask you some things. And like I said, we may challenge you a little bit, not to make you uncomfortable, to make sure we know what the right product is for you. We want to make sure you get the right product, and we're going to make sure you get the right price.
But on that note, once again, before you go purchase appliance, you want to measure, take pictures of the existing appliance you have, and as much as the surrounding areas you can, because that indicates a lot.
Let's talk about that. Refrigerator doors.
We're going to talk about refrigerator doors and laundry rooms when we get back. Laundry rooms, these new ventless dryers. Think about what I just said on the break, and you come back and we'll talk about that one too. But refrigerators, big. Will it fit in the corner? We'll talk to you about that when we come back. You're listening to About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte. Roddey Player, President, CEO of the new Queen City Home Store. Same old, beautiful, wonderful service. New look, new brand. Come back. Let's talk about it. All right, welcome back to About Your House. Roddey Players in the house. We're talking furniture, talking appliances, talking the home store, Queen City Home Store, and a new concept, new brand, but same great service, dependability, and best price guarantee. Okay, we're talking about doors, appliances, clearances. It's become more difficult than it was 20 years ago because there's a broader number of SKUs, meaning products with varying measurements. But talk about refrigerators.
So yeah, lots of different styles. There's a lot of new product coming out still, and you think about
How
innovation.
could they get new products when it comes to refrigerators?
There's more innovation coming out in refrigeration products than there is in probably anything else right now. French doors continue to evolve. Had 2 doors, bottom freezers, and now we got 3 doors and 4 doors, 5 doors, and maybe 12 doors sooner or later. I don't know. But what you said before the break was talking about doors and things like putting them in corners, I guess, refrigerators.
Yeah.
And I swear, it seems like the drawings we look at with builders, I don't throw my builders on the bus, but they wind up just throwing the refrigerator in a corner. I don't know why they feel like it's the least important part of the kitchen. It's probably the most important part of the kitchen.
Yes.
Accessibility of the refrigerator. Another reason for pictures, because if you put it in a corner, sometimes a side-by-side refrigerator, you got to be able to open the doors past 90 degrees. And if there's a wall on one side or the other, you can't get that door open past 90 degrees, which means you don't have access to it.
There's shelves in that door which create more bulk and more thickness to the door. Okay, if your door doesn't open so far, typically refrigerators have drawers in them, pull-outs.
Mm-hmm.
The pull-outs won't pull out because the doors are so thick it gets in the way of pulling them out. To your point,
can't get a turkey out of a freezer.
You can't
get it in the freezer.
Get it in to get it back out. So the accessibility is minimalized, and that's not why you want a refrigerator.
But there are solutions for that. Some of the French doors, it's different because the French doors, first of all, the drawer will pull out in the bottom and pull straight out instead of open up to the sides on some models. But then, and even if you do have a French door, you can that left-hand door, say there's a wall on the left-hand side, it's 35 or 8 inches deep, whatever it is, that left-hand door can open, but you still have access to it. You can open the right-hand door and reach in there, but it's still not always ideal for that kind of situation. And, we talked to our sales professionals in the stores about making sure that the door swings are right on refrigerators too. Sometimes they'll buy a top freezer and you have to pull the door all the way across you to get the thing open and then have access to the counter beside you, whatever. So we want to make sure the hinges are on the right side of the refrigerators and things like that. So bring pictures. You bring those pictures and we will help make sure that your house, your kitchen is performing at the best it possibly can for your use, for your convenience, and for your family too. Bring us pictures of those and we'll make sure that we get the right product in there for you too.
Pictures are definitely worth 1,000 words. I mean, really.
Did you coin that phrase? I've heard it before.
No, I've heard it before. I'm using it. I'm plagiarizing. Right. But no, seriously, pictures. Well, every job I go out to, I've got pictures. And I'll say this too. I install a job 4 times before I ever go out there to install it. People say, how you do that? In my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, the whole ticket is just like with you. When you go out there, you want to leave a happy customer.
Mm-hmm.
You want it working. You want it installed correctly, and you want a happy customer.
Absolutely.
Don't want to have to go back to that house again.
Well, we want to tell them
10 or 15 years later, maybe.
We want to tell their friends and family how it went, so they send them to see us too. It's not just one and done in our business. So we expect, that's another thing with the furniture part of the business. We expect to see our customer every year and a half or two. And so because there's something that we offer that they're going to be buying every year and a half or two. And so we want to be that place where they can come and have a relationship with us. And, if they come shop with us today and they see Bobby or Johnny or Sally or Susie, I would bet a lot of money that same person is going to be in that store when next time they're ready to buy something. Our team stays with us. They're loyal to us because I think we're a top a best workplace. We've won in Charlotte for I guess 3 or 4 years running here as being the best workplace, and that's important to us.
What's the oldest employee you got? Not for year. Now I talk about your mama.
Yeah.
Okay. Not Miss Player. I'm talking about your employees.
So I'm not, to be honest with you.
Well, you are you've been there as long as anybody.
I have not.
Oh, really?
I say that. we have got a 44-year employee that I should say from full time. When I was 8, 9 years old, maybe. But we've got a guy that was an old service tech for us. Hired as a delivery guy first of all. Then went to appliance or a TV tech for a while, and now helps us in operations. He's been with us about 44 years, and Pete's his name, and he's been with us for a long, long time. And a lot of the people that listen to you, I know a fellow Rick Webb that works for us.
I know Rick.
Richard Berman at the Independence Boulevard store that Red was talking about. Richard Berman, Rick Webb. Rick actually is my age. He started right out of high school, 18, 19 years old, and I was still in college. So he was a full-time W-2 employee before I was also. And, that's the kind of stuff that we have,
But Chip's been with you.
Chip Fincher's been there since the early 90s.
Yeah.
And say a prayer for Chip. Say a prayer for Chip out there right now. He's got some things going on for his health that we're working on, but he's doing everything he can to keep going and doing a great job for us. Chip's been there a long time, and Teresa works with him for sure. A lot of your audience will know those guys. And, it's about people, right? I just,
life is about people.
It
takes a village.
It really does. And so my job is easier because I got great people out there.
It's all about finding good people, and that's why we need to instill good quality people in our workplace.
And Mark out there that's been working with Chip for so long. He's been there a long time too, and does some great work on our builder side of the business. And Cece's on that side of the business too. He's newer, but still been there. I guess it's probably been 10 years or so. But we just got a great team, and a lot of great. Our store leaders have been there for decades, and but watch for this transition of the company in Charlotte over the next couple of years. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be great.
I'll tell you what's going to be fun talking to you next year.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully have some of it done by then.
Well, but you're definitely even talking to you today versus last year. We got a new concept.
We do. We really do.
It's awesome.
So you're going to see, and I'll tell you, just as a forerunner, all that road construction on Independence Boulevard, that store Red talked about, 1964, 66 is when my dad opened up that Independence Boulevard store that was right there at Sharon Amity, at Amity Garden Shopping Center. They
I
called
know
it back
exactly
in
what
the
you're
day.
talking
The
about,
shopping center, the four walls are still there. But we moved out to the Quorum area in 1988. I think is when we went out there, and the store is still there. The DOT is going to come mess with the roads again. And we're actually going to lose that whole shopping center is going to come down.
Oh, it is?
It is. And so we're trying to figure out what's next out there. It's been a wonderful market for us. We do a tremendous amount of business there. We've got 6 or 7 strong, great employees out there. They're doing a great job for us.
Yeah, I've worked with several of them out there.
Yeah, we've got some bilingual salespeople in that building too that do a great job for us. I do want to talk about that a little bit too, Ray, about our efforts in the Hispanic community. But we're going to wind that shopping center will come down. So I want to tell Mark Goldsmith, but Lebo's they're trying to figure out what's next out there too. We don't know what's happening yet, but it's imminent. And
Lebo Boots.
Oh yeah, there you go. What a great company that is. Holy cow. They're great guys, great people. But so we got to figure out what that looks like. And it's an important part of our business, a lot of volume. We've got some things we want to do in the Pineville market out there too.
Right.
That's going to be exciting for us. And then we're going to do a big renovation at our flagship store on I-85 that is going to happen in the next 18 to 24 months. It'll really, I probably got a strong opinion about it, but it's going to be one of the finest appliance, furniture, electronics showrooms in the country when we finish with that. It's been a great facility for us over the years, and we did a ton of business out there. We've got about 25 people working out there now, and it's a tremendous facility out there. The most knowledgeable people, the best products are displayed out there. Big flagship store out there. We're going to renovate that building, and it's a 50,000 foot building right now. We display about 15,000 square feet. We had our warehouse in the back until COVID hit. We moved it out to Westinghouse. So we're going to open up that showroom, make it bigger, and we're super excited about that too.
Awesome. I got to do my little box store blurb here. Okay, you go buy a dishwasher at one of the box stores.
Mike told us about it already.
I know. But I gotta emphasize this a little bit. You are not buying the same dishwasher that you buy at Queen City Home Store. They're made in different locations. They may look the same. They may carry some of the same model numbers, similar model numbers, but they're not the same appliance. Now, are they, Roddey?
Not all the time. Sometimes they'll have derivatives that they've cut cost on and taken features off. Things
and
like
they
that.
come in lots and containers from overseas. Now, not that the appliances Queen City sells don't come in containers; they do as well, but they're manufactured differently from a cheaper, and that goes across the board with plumbing, electrical fixtures, you name it. But just beware from in the box. Now, I'm not saying anything about the quality; it's just not the same. Okay, you take it for what it's worth. So you buy different products, and that'd be Best Buy, Lowe's, HD, that'd be Home Depot, all the big box stores. It's different. They're different, and you'll get different service and knowledge factors too. So Queen City's got people there that understand, know their craft, and shares that with you, so you make the best product selection possible. So I had to say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now the bilingual thing,
Yeah, so we've got somebody in the organization now who's in charge of our initiatives in the Hispanic community, and so for those listeners out there that may have employees, maybe listeners themselves, we're trying to. The population, 16-18% of the population are Hispanic, and so we feel like it's something we want to serve that community, be part of that community. We've got a leader now in charge of our business development, I guess, in the Hispanic community. It's involved with the Latino Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and also is involved with the Minority Contractors Association. We talked about that earlier too.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we're part of all parts of the community that are serving the builder community. Also,
they've attended some trade show, career day events as well.
Absolutely, and well, that's ideal. I mean, they can help you with tools in schools and things
Sure.
like that. And we're trying to bring some young people in to help with that stuff. But we're excited about that opportunity. So we want to have some bilingual sales professionals in all of our stores, and so we're working on that. And Luis Nader is driving that for us, and we're excited about what he's doing there too. So he's a big, just a really great personality and positive guy. He's a super individual, I guess. But we enjoy having him on the team. Something else I want to talk about too, Ray, is this, for lack of a better term, to use the actual term, that Inflation Reduction Act that came out, where they're trying to do some things with Energy Star appliances. So we're trying to understand what that looks like right now. If you've got some listeners out there that are in the remodeling, maybe they're property managers and have multifamily projects out there, there's money available for rebates for redoing electrical services in the homes and the projects. Do you know much about that?
No, I don't. I wish I knew more.
I'm learning about it myself, but there's rebates when you buy an Energy Star range, for example. There's not a lot of Energy Star ranges, and so, but you have to do it through. Right now, you have to do it through a contractor. So we got to figure out what that looks like if we become a contractor for that part of it. Does that mean an electrical contract, which is licensed and
Sure.
that kind of stuff, or have a partner do that with us? But there's these rebates out there. So I think the money's been allocated to North Carolina. So we're trying to understand what that is. So if you're one of those contracts out there and you work on those projects, we can help supply those Energy Star appliances. And so there's it's really based on ranges. And then and you mentioned heat pump dryers offline a little while ago. Heat pump dryers are part of that too. And there are rebates up to $840 on a heat pump dryer, I think is what it is. And so, but you wanted to vent a little bit about heat pump dryers. What do you want to say about that?
Well, you as above anybody knows when a new product hits the market, new technology, it goes through we go through learning curves.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, and they don't tell you all the good news and the bad news. They just tell you all what they think's good news. Like ventless dryers. Well, before you purchase a ventless dryer, now I'm not saying they're good or bad or indifferent, but think of it. Think about it. There's got to be filters in that dryer in situations that require maintenance. Now, maintenance is something people don't seem to grab a hold of very well, just like that dishwasher filter we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Most of you out there don't even know there is one. Just like your cabin filter for your automobile. Most of you don't even know there is one. Well, ventless dryers, there's 2 or 3 filters incorporated in that appliance. And if you don't keep them clean, well, you think about it, it's a dryer. What are you pulling out of the clothes? Water. Where's the water going if you don't have a vent? That's the question I ask. you figure it out and do your homework. So now there are scenarios that you can't vent a dryer in building. I understand that. I'm just throwing it out there. Beware. Read the instruction manual, read the customer manual, because you need to be aware of what it takes to own one of those appliances.
We get calls too when people first buy one that's not heating. We have to have wet clothes in there before it'll start to heat and dry your clothes. So
it's total
it's
technology.
Different. It's different. It's absolutely different. And so there is some new technology too that we're seeing a lot of activity and great product too, which is exciting. And these all-in-ones.
And I got another one that blows me away.
Okay.
Induction cooktops.
Yeah.
Got to talk about induction cooktops.
Yeah.
Boils water in 90 seconds. I never believed it to be so.
Just as fast as gas does.
Faster.
Yep.
Much faster. Magnetic induction cooking.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. Matter of fact, I'm taking a gas cooktop out and putting an induction cooktop in.
Okay.
I think I am. I hadn't heard from him yet.
But
he wasn't aware that it took a different power energy requirement.
Right.
So I told him, I said, you got
amperage too.
I know. I told him, I said, you got to run at least a 40 amp circuit, 220 outlet under this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He said, really? I said, yes, sir. You got to pull a home run right back to the panel.
Yeah.
He said,
and that's just a heavier gauge of wire.
Well, it's a number 8 gauge wire, but it's still, it has to be done.
Breaker change too, plus the heavier wire.
Well, install, because typically when you replacing a gas, it wasn't thought of in the building aspect of it, planned in it, so it doesn't have the proper necessary power requirements, energy requirements. 220 volt circuit, 40 amp minimum.
And so there's people right now, if you've got a dual fuel range that has an electric oven and a gas top, you're a candidate for induction.
Yes, you are.
You do have to check the amperage on the available on that
line.
Well,
typically they're 50 amp circuits anyway.
Okay, well, you should be
so
fine.
You should be fine.
So if you wanted to go to induction, you can, but it's control, right? So you got control. The temperature control is much better, and you're going to see less smoke, less burn off your pans. You do have to have, I hate to say special pans, because I'm not sure there's many pans out there anymore that aren't induction capable or compatible.
Flat bottom magnetic induction
Flat
pans.
bottom is a big deal for sure.
Big time, because it transfers energy through magnetic induction.
But it's also safety. So when you take that pan off of that burner,
heat goes away.
Heat goes away. And so not from the pan. No, but from the burner it does. So it's a big safety aspect to that part of it too, but it's really precise control.
Well, I went out to Seattle and had the dog sit, my friend's kids' dogs. And I went in the kitchen, saw this glass surface, looked down and says, what's this? Then I figured out, this is induction. Wow, I get to cook on induction. I was blown away.
Cool.
Very, very, very nice. And I know you gas connoisseurs out there. You gas cooks love your gas. I get that. And you wolf gas people cooking on a wolf range, man, that's some nice cooking stuff there.
Right.
But induction cooking, awesome.
And so we haven't had some of those pro ranges that we sell. We haven't had those available in induction, but they're coming out fast and furious with new 48-inch wide pro induction ranges now.
That would be awesome.
So that's exciting. And so that's brand new product. Jenner's got one coming. There's already some out there. Fisher & Paykel, I mentioned earlier, has some of those. But they're beautiful too. I mean, they're really nice, sleek.
They're sleek. Yeah.
Beautiful product out there. And so, but we're excited about that.
That's good to know. So the dual fuel Ranger is just going to be coming out all electric, basically, with the induction cooktops on them.
Yep.
Awesome. That's some good stuff.
I was hitting around something earlier I didn't quite finish on, but we were talking about that laundry. One of the hottest selling stuff we got right now is all-in-one washer dryer units.
Same thing, basically.
Yeah.
How's that working?
Well, they're selling great. People love them. To be honest with you, I was surprised. I was a little hesitant myself.
I'm apprehensive. I want to see it a year or two down the road.
A friend of mine calls and wants one. I was scared to death to sell it to him, but his wife
Who's
loves
making
it. General Electric. Yeah, it's a profile brand. They've and LG has them. They've got a good unit too. Whirlpool's got one too, but G kind of created the category again. They've been out there for a while. I'm gonna mention Bendix. Remember Bendix brand?
Oh yeah,
they had those years ago, but they were small capacity things and not real user friendly. But I'm telling you what, you can push the button and it'll wash and dry in one setting. You don't have to come back and move it from the other. But we see people buying 2 of these now and putting them in the space where they had a washer and dryer before. They'll put 2 of them in there. So they have 4, 2 washers and 2 dryers.
I got to do some homework.
But it's a nice product. But this friend of mine called back the other day, and she was so excited about that thing because she could push the button and it's done in a couple hours.
Does it vent like normal dryer?
It's a heat pump. This particular one's a heat pump. But it's got the washer with it, so it's taking the moisture out with.
It's taking the out the drain. That makes sense.
Out the drain. So it's a big capacity unit. It's a tall unit, so it's something we got to make sure it'll fit in space. But G's got a couple units out there that sell like crazy, and it's a good value. but you can, like I said, you can put 2 of them in the space where you had your washer and dryer before.
Can I ask? Do you know the price of that unit?
Yeah, it's a couple $grand per unit for the all-in-one. But you figure if you're going to pay $1,000 a piece for washer and dryer each, and maybe not $1,000 is a high price, maybe it's $800 average price on a front load washer, another $800 for the dryer, you got $1,600 in it. And so for $2 grand, $2,200, you can get this top of the line all in one with GE. And you're going to accomplish the same thing. But the beauty of it is you don't have to come back to that washer and then throw the clothes in the dryer.
Oh yeah,
it's one and done. One and done.
I'm anxious to
it's cool.
Find out
really
about
cool.
That. Moving forward, technology always changing. All right, we're about done here. We got about 15 minutes left out of the break, and we cannot leave unless we talk about Queen City Home Store staple. Back to the early days. It all started with TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's end it with TVs.
Okay.
You want to?
Sure.
Because there's TVs have come, well, they're different. They're like computers. You just hang on the wall.
Right.
We'll talk about it. Come back. You listen to About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte. Download the free app. Stream us live. By far the best way to hear it. On your browser, Fox Sports Radio Charlotte. Give us a call. Got a question, 704-227-8986. We'll be back.
Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-595-9595, or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
Whether you're building new or remodeling old, let ABS Insulating make it comfortable. ABS Insulating knows the business of comfort. Using the latest products and technology, ABS offers an array of solutions. Using fiberglass and spray foam, and all installed by certified technicians. ABS Insulating has been saving energy dollars with great customer service for over 30 years. They're a leader in the industry. Call them today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
Steve Helms here with the Al Metal Driving Corporation. The Al Metal Driving Corporation is a full-service driving company. Regardless of the problem, we can handle it. Does your clothes dryer take longer than 45 to 50 minutes to dry a load? If so, you need your dryer vent cleaned or checked. The clothes dryer is the most inefficient appliance in the house and should never take longer than 45 to 50 minutes. Call Al Metal Dryer Vent today at 704-846-8368 or online at almetaldryervent.com. That's 704-846-VENT. Have you cleaned your dryer vent lately?
Hi, I'm Sam Attero of AteroMedia.com, and I love empowering my clients and partners to make the most out of today's latest digital media tools. We specialize in building production systems and podcast studios for small to mid-sized churches and local businesses here in Charlotte. Do you need new media production gear? Do you need help learning how to use it? You're in great hands with our family business, Attero Media of Charlotte. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All righty. Roddey Player in studio today. Been a lot of fun. Update.
It sure has been.
Update for me because I learn a lot every time you come in here. Always changing.
We always good at educating your listeners, that's for sure.
We need to educate them.
Right.
Help them all we can. Because, doing this kind of buying things today is not as easy as it once was. And it can create a lot of stress. And the number one cause for disease and ailments is stress. So let's get rid of it. Make it easier.
Ooh, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, we try. But, we talk about, we haven't talked about TVs, televisions. And I don't even think they're called TVs anymore, are they? Are they still called TVs? I'm just joking.
No, I hear you. But, they're TVs in my mind.
Yeah,
for sure. But, flat panel, everybody's trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And prices keep coming down and down. And so they keep trying to introduce new technology to try and keep prices up. And it doesn't last very long before prices keep tumbling down. I was looking the other week, got a 86-inch television set for $750 in the market right now.
Hold on. Now, last year you were talking about one that was like $500. Now you got an 86 for what?
It's $750.
86-inch TV,
right.
$750.
Yeah. And so,
what brand is that?
It's an LG.
LG.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's just fascinating. I'd hate to be in a business with deflationary pricing like that, but that's the world they live in. But it's tough.
Well, something I see, a new thing. I had 4 TVs given to me.
Mm-hmm.
They're all flat panels, but they're older flat panels because of the technology change.
Yeah.
Now I didn't get a plasma because those are pretty much gone.
They are. Yeah.
They're out of here.
Yeah.
And but TVs they're cheap now.
Yeah, so they're getting thinner and thinner also. So we've got some really kind of some mainstream TVs that are going to be 98-inch TVs coming up here too. They're just kind of hit the marketplace. We've got some orders coming on those things, but they're getting flatter. And you think about 98-inch TV. I'm gonna say
that's over 8 feet wide.
My wife complains about the size of our TV in our living room, and I don't think it's big enough. She thinks it's too big, but because you can see a little bit more of the skin complexions than you like to see sometimes when they get so big. But that's another thing. When you come in the store, we'll talk to you about how far the TV is going to be away from where you're sitting, and when you install a TV, you want to make sure it's not too high so that your neck is not sore from looking up too high. Those kind of things.
I had an argument with a lot of people through the years that said you're putting it too high.
Yeah.
Well, I want it high because I said no, it's bad on your neck.
Yeah, it really
you won't
is.
be comfortable.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable. But yeah, talking about being flatter and flatter and flatter. The thing that we do suffer in quality. The picture quality continues to improve, but the sound quality continues to it's not as good as it does, because with speakers you kind of need depth in the speakers, the way they're made and things like that. So talk about the sound too. We try and include or add sound bars to everything, every TV that's purchased out there, because they really need it. You need at least a sound bar if you're not going to do in-wall
What's
speakers.
the sound bar cost?
I mean, they're not. They can be $300. They can be as low as $300.
Okay.
There's some quality things to talk about there, and you can pay $1,500 if you want to for one too. But one will do fine with your TV is $300, but that $300 will give you so much more enjoyment. You think about the basketball games that are going on right now, and some great ones out there. Just the excitement of hearing the crowd and hearing the announcers go off, and then the football games and things like that. And then if you're watching movies, to hear the depth of the sound. Having a subwoofer attached to that sound bar is an option, and the sound, I'm telling you, is equally as important as the video quality these days. Because the quality of the videos, they can't produce video to keep up with what's available as far as on that television, 4K, 8K. There's not a lot of quality of video of that high quality. Now the TV will upscale it and try to approach that. But don't forget the sound. If you're trying to spend your last $300 on a TV, put in the sound. Maybe sacrifice a little bit of quality on the TV to get the sound, and you'll enjoy it more. You really will.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because see, you're right. The sound audio for everything is important.
Absolutely.
But when you don't have the audio, you can definitely tell it.
And these sound bars these days also play your Spotify off your phone. Things like that. So they'll stream Bluetooth hookups to stream anything you want to stream on those from your phone, whatever kind of music you listen to.
Right. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, but what about exterior television?
Outdoor, it's different.
That's why I brought it up, because there's a lot of outdoor entertaining going on.
So, you can put a TV outdoors, what you call an indoor TV outside, and it'll work for a while. But, you got to worry about the moisture from outside. You got to worry about insects getting in there, spiders getting in there, and things like that. And so if you're going to spend, $300-400 for a 32 or 43-inch TV, whatever it may be out there, and you can get a couple of years out of that probably, but there's also other things. The outdoor TVs are built different. They're encapsulated so insects can't get in there, but they're also built, and you need to talk to us about what kind of shades you've got for that outdoor setting.
Exposure to sun.
Absolutely, because some of them are built for full sun, which means that they'll stay bright in any kind of sunlight. But some of them that are in shade, if you don't have the right TV for that particular environment, then you won't see the picture very well. It'll be too dark.
Right.
And so we want you to enjoy everything. And we've got a brand, Furrion. It's out there. It's a great brand. It's an affordable brand. It's not super expensive. Samsung has them too. But Furrion. And so it's a great brand out there. And like I said, it's an encapsulated product. It's going to last you, it's going to last 3 or 4 times as long. Now you might pay twice as much maybe, but it's really worthwhile, not just for encapsulating for the longevity of the production, but the quality of the viewing is a big part of the outdoor TV scene too. So we didn't talk about outdoor kitchens. That's probably good for another whole show out there.
You got outdoor kitchens, you got grills, you got outdoor cooking, everything.
Yeah, outdoor living is, God, you were talking about the weather in Charlotte. We're so lucky to live in the Carolinas, aren't we? God,
absolutely. I just wish we had a little more snow than we used to have.
Yeah, we'll get it every couple of 3 years. We'll have something that'll hit us pretty hard, but I think the mountains had some nice snow. Had some, I think, this week up in the mountains.
Yeah.
But we're only a couple hours away from it, a couple hours from the beach, a couple hours from the mountains.
Yeah, hour and a half, you can be on any mountain.
That's right.
Roughly.
That's right. But
within 2 hours,
we truly live in God's country here. I really believe that. But
Well, I appreciate you coming in today.
Ray, it's always a pleasure being with you, and thank you for what you do for the community. This Tools and Schools initiative, I think, will be changing people's lives out there, and I appreciate your effort and what you're doing there. And I know you got a lot more to accomplish out there, but keep pounding it.
Thank you for your support.
Absolutely.
You add a great deal to the plate, and I appreciate it. Without my sponsors' support, I couldn't do what I'm doing. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and time, when you got to get up every day and chase and just keep digging,
How long have you been doing the show now?
35 years collectively.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. Crazy.
35 years.
But we're going to keep on. Now it's podcasting. Radio's pretty much gone by the byway to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Not the old radio community-based stations. Just isn't what it used to be, But, hey, we're going to grow, bob and weave and navigate through it all. But without great community efforts like you put out there and support, you've been a tremendous asset to Charlotte.
We appreciate you.
And thank you so much. It takes all of us, folks, but next week, we're going to talk about what we always talk about. We're going to talk about a project just wrapping up there in the eastern part of the state, Connect for Success NC. It's about kids and building sheds, volt competition, and the electrical welding competition, Spark. We're going to bring that to you, all about that. But if you're looking for new appliances and furniture, Queen City Home Store, queencityonline.com. Are all your locations on there?
Everything's there. It really is. We got some of us. 2 of them say opening soon, but and Greenwood and Boiling Springs, South Carolina, but they're all there.
All the locations, and you can shop online.
You can.
But we've given you a lot of guideposts during this program today. You can do all your shopping. You don't have to leave the house. But if you do, they've got several, many showrooms around the Carolinas now to give you what you need, the information, and what's your buy line? Best price, guaranteed.
Oh, right product, right price. The real answers, guaranteed.
I bet you say that in your sleep, don't you?
I do. Yes, sir.
But Roddey Player, I appreciate you.
Ray,
And appreciate all you do. And give kudos to your beautiful mother.
Oh, and she's something. Yeah, she's something. Frances. Yeah.
That's Frances Player.
Yeah.
She's an institution.
Yeah. 96 years old in July, still working. Some people be embarrassed by that, Ray, but I think it's okay.
A lot of people say, you still working? When you going to retire? I don't ever plan to retire. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you use it, you'll live longer for it.
My dad was the same way. He worked until he just couldn't. It was a lot of fun having him around.
Well, folks, go out and make it a great year. We'll be back here next week. We don't have a guest lined up yet. I have one, but I got to confirm it, and I'll talk about that because here lately, with everybody's schedule and busy, and I appreciate you taking your time on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Yeah, I know all your listeners try to do everything they can to buy local and support local companies out there, and we appreciate it.
Yep, buy local. And we'll be back next Saturday right here. So go out and find you a child and mentor. And remember, put Tools in Schools. We need your help. Put toolsinschools.org. Sign up. Volunteer. Let us hear from you. In the meantime, we'll see you back here next week on About Your House. Thank you, Mr. Player.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Enjoy it,
We
brother.
love you all, folks. Take care.